Chicken!
Run in to try IHOP's new Buttermilk Crispy Chicken Strips and Pancakes for just $6.99. For a limited time, price and participating restaurants may vary.
The summer of Jeep, Compass, Cherokee, Wrangler, Cars Plus, and Mighty. Your new adventure starts now. Buy the 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the year and get a new Jeep Wrangler Sport for $268 per paycheck. Or get a new Jeep Compass Sport, only $167 per paycheck. Let them hear you coming in the new 2019 Jeep Cherokee. Buy for $205 per paycheck. And get financing as low as 1.99% on all Jeep models. Come see why you'll be kicking it at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
An Afghan soldier has killed 2 U.S. service members in southern Afghanistan. That's according to a U.S. official. This brings the number of troops killed in Afghanistan this year to 12, one fewer than all of last year. Defending himself on the floor of the Senate, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who earlier this month blocked legislation put forth by Democrats to secure the nation's election system.
My differences with Democrats on complicated matters of election law are the kind of disagreements we used to be able to have without mainstream media outlets screaming that one side is traitorous.
Last week, former special counsel Robert Mueller testified that Russians are still meddling in the U.S. political system. Police in Canada could be closing in on 2 teenagers wanted in connection with a killing spree that left 3 people dead. Amid the manhunt in northern Manitoba, residents are being warned to stay inside with their doors locked.
Yesterday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 people on neighborhood watch patrol in York Landing, Manitoba spotted 2 men who matched the suspect's description. They were rummaging through a landfill. They took off running as soon as they realized they were being watched. Now, this is 55 miles west of Gillam, Manitoba, where the search has been concentrated for a full week now. Last Monday, 19-year-old Cam McLeod and 18-year-old Briar Schmagelski were caught on store surveillance camera in Gillam. Police also located a stolen vehicle the pair drove to Gillam and set on fire.
Fox's Dan Springer, the teenagers have been charged with murder. Big Papi is glad to be home from the hospital. Former Boston Red Sox slugger David Ortiz saying that while speaking publicly for the first time since being shot at a nightclub last month. Ortiz had his gallbladder and part of his intestine removed. Cam Puso, Fox News.
Get 2 Pepsi 12-packs for only $8.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a Pepsi 12-pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get 2 Coke 12-packs for only $8.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Calaguan Hapa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mezcla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mezcla, a true taste of Guam.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has upheld Guam District Court Judge Francis Tadeko Gatewood's decision striking down the Guam plebiscite law as unconstitutional because it is race-based and in violation of the 15th Amendment. The appeals court denied the government of Guam's appeal and affirmed Judge Tadeko Gatewood's injunction against the proposed non-binding plebiscite that is meant to gauge the political status preferences of Guam's native inhabitants by asking whether they prefer statehood, independence, or free association. Retired Air Force officer Arnold Dave Davis filed the lawsuit after he tried to register for the decolonization registry so he could vote in the plebiscite. His attempt to register was denied because Davis is not a native inhabitant of Guam. In a release announcing the decision overnight, Davis's legal counsel Christian Adams said the Ninth Circuit has again ruled against Guam, and Guam cannot conduct the plebiscite, period. It's time to resolve these issues, he said, with broad consensus that respects the 15th Amendment. Family and friends are mourning the death of Keith Castro, who was shot and killed in Jigo Sunday night. The motive for his murder remains unclear. Police have not released any details, but the day before he died, Castro posted on Facebook Live and talked about certain defendants awaiting trial in jail who, he said, have been spreading rumors describing him as a snitch. In his Facebook post, Castro said, "I ain't a snitch and I do not plan on going to jail." Castro was shot and killed around 8:45 Sunday night at a home in a residential neighborhood on Chalantun Fred Cabeza, just off Route 15 in Jigo. He was pronounced dead at Guam Regional Medical City at 9:50 that night. We'll have more news after this.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about the food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll.
Let's gallivant.
Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. The Federal Election Commission has sent 2 letters to Guam delegate Michael San Nicolas, citing discrepancies in his campaign finance report for the 2018 election and an apparently erroneous filing for the 2020 election. In a statement to the Guam Daily Post, San Nicolas said these issues have already been addressed with the FEC. He said such letters are not uncommon for new offices getting accustomed to the filing process. The first letter, dated May 28th, cites 4 discrepancies in San Nicolas's year-end campaign finance report, including report totals appear to be incorrect. The report omits the loans and debts on previous reports, and the report fails to disclose complete information for each creditor. The second letter, dated June 24th, states that San Nicolas filed reports of receipts and disbursements that appear to be for the 2020 elections. San Nicolas said the 2 letters from the Federal Election Commission are standard issue for any items that require clarification. Guam Fire Department responding to a report of a distressed swimmer at the Agana Marina last night, where they found a woman lying face down in the channel. According to a statement from Guam Fire spokesman Kevin Riley, the woman had no pulse and was not breathing. Medics rushed her to Guam Naval Hospital, performing CPR en route. Her condition has not been released. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at our weather.
Let's see what it calls for today. Partly sunny in the forecast, isolated showers and some thunderstorms. South winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Daytime highs 88 degrees and overnight lows of about 89 degrees. Sunset tonight about 6:49. Sunrise this morning was at 6:05. And we got some great shots of the sunrise from all kinds of folks, including Michael Knight, who went outside just a few minutes ago to see what was going on. And they were, I want to say there were like 2 sunrises this morning, because you had one that was kind of plain Jane, but if you went outside another 5 minutes later, you just got another one of these spectacular, wow, look at all the colors there.
Yeah, I kind of caught this one. I was in a time crunch, but got to catch this one. Really wanted to get that in because it's got the moon and everything else in there. Nothing really spectacular because there really aren't many clouds out there, but and we'll talk about that here in just a moment.
Well, let's look at the picture that I was able to take this morning. We got Pam. There's a picture from Pam's backyard, and she got some nice clouds up in the sky and some pretty pinks in there. And where's the Ray Ray one? I think I got a Ray Ray. Huh. Oh, you know where I put it? I put it on Facebook.
Oh,
yeah. You have to find it on Facebook. Actually, it's on Facebook, and I'll show the picture here a little bit later on because it's one of those things where I'm looking at it going, if DPW could just take out that pole, it would make for much better sunrise shots for me. All right, here's the weather radar Mike's going to tell you all about today.
Well, if you check the radar, you can see everything's moving in a completely different direction than yesterday.
What is that?
Well, what we had a weak tropical disturbance develop north of the Marianas. It's called 93W Invest. It's going to move away, not be any big deal, but it kind of changed the dynamics of the atmosphere and started bringing in a southerly flow to us. So things have changed, but it's still a very slow-moving air mass. Things are just kind of creeping along, and there is still plenty of moisture out there. All you got to do is walk outside, and you can feel it hanging in the air. So what we're looking for today, just isolated showers and thunderstorms until things heat up a little bit. Then we'll get some more of those island effect storms. This time it looks like the western areas of the island will be mostly affected. Yesterday, of course, the east side got hammered the most. We did have some storms kind of coming this way yesterday afternoon, and then they broke up. They broke up, yeah, and that's just how it goes. Yeah, and again, that's the diurnal cycle we're talking about. That in that case, we were shifting from daytime to the nighttime cycle. So they peter out, and then things happen. In this case, now this flow coming up, so we can expect some pretty heavy rainfall, say in the southern mountains along the west coast. If you look at the satellite here, you can see a little bit of spin up to the north of us. There's a bit of a combination of things going on there. There's an upper level low as well as a surface low, and that's not an uncommon thing, but it's a very weak disturbance, so it's going to get on out of the way. Otherwise, just lots of clouds and moisture. I'm kind of concerned about the big blobbage down to the south, maybe getting dragged up by this weak circulation. Weather Service hasn't talked about that yet, but their discussion for the morning will be coming out in about an hour or so, and we'll check that out.
At 6:13 in the morning. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific, banking on the Pacific for 65 years.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65% for travel, back to school, a wedding. Do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC, conditions apply.
Let's see here. Portions of the program at 6:15 brought to you by folks over at Nambo Insurances. And remember, they've got a bundle up plan. So if you're going to get one of these Jeep Wranglers or Cherokees or Grand Cherokees that I'm going to talk about, that's the place to go next and get it insured along with the house and the other car and the motorcycle and mopeds and things like that. And they'll hit the bundle button on the computer and save you all kinds of money, maybe up to 50%. Give them a ring today at 477-9754. The Point broadcast made possible by American President Line's global presence with a local home. It's Tuesday, and that means on Tuesday we go for 2 endless garden bars, a couple of tasty entrees, and a dessert that everybody can share for a terrific price. Ruby Tuesdays, 2-for-1 Tuesdays with 2 complete meals for a terrific value. $25.99. Available all day, every Tuesday for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays Guam. Remember, I was telling you about Cars Plus. This summer of Jeep sale is going to be ending tomorrow, the 31st of July, and then it's going to be all over. So today could be one of the last days to get your hands on a steering wheel and the key fob for a Jeep Wrangler, a Compass, a Cherokee, or a Grand Cherokee with financing as low as 1.99%. Don't let this sale pass you by. And don't let this pass you by either. Never been a better time to go solar. Jeff and Joe say that all the time from Micronesia Renewable Energy. Solar with battery storage is now available for Guam homeowners. 632-2613 gets you a free consultation.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
And let it get big and noisy. Yes, yes. Wake up. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray Gibson. Do you feel Tuesday? Are you feeling?
Day on, if I was going somewhere, I was running.
We're running. Right dead into the week here. What a thing! What a program! What a morning! And I already got that kind of groovy Friday feeling. And it's only Tuesday. We'll work on it together. If you don't have it yet, just stick around. We'll find a way to do that. What's that, Dave Torrey? A new swim style says legislative backstroke. I think I know exactly what he's talking about. We'll get into that into the stories in just a second. But because I took the time, trouble, and significant personal expense and risk of standing outside literally in the street on Marine Corps Drive to snag a picture of a beautiful Tuesday morning sunrise, I feel compelled to put it on the radio. Put it on the radio. Put it on the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live, and you can watch this on thepoint.gu, and the Guam Daily Post has a website, and they like to have Kevin Kerrigan on the screen, so they've got that there as well. But it really is terrific. I mean, this is the reward for waking up early, is to be able to catch the sunrises, and as we've been remarking about with the sunsets as well. If you open the door and you look outside and go, that sucks, come back 5 minutes later. You might get treated to something else. You might be able to see some of these little wispy clouds up there and all kinds of different colors in the morning sky. Just a great way to get the day started. I don't have the moon in this picture. And because I think it's on the other side.
It's behind a cloud. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's not much of a moon there, I guess.
No,
it's
very slim,
slivery.
a little slim crescent right now.
Anyway, so that's the deal here this morning. Welcome to the broadcast. Excuse the mess, as I say. Michael Knight gets the phone when you call at 888-8255. That's 888-8255. And I'd love to hear what you've got on your mind. If you've got images of what you've got on your mind, you're more than welcome to send them to the WhatsApp here, 988-5874. That's 988-5874. And there are no restrictions. We'll take it from all comers here. The only thing that we request is that if you do send something to the WhatsApp here on 93.3 The Point, just make sure it's something that I can actually use on the air. Every once in a while, somebody will send me something that's just a little bit off color, and you know, it'd be okay with me because it's just us, the boys. You know, have you seen that what is it, the bottle cap challenge? Have you seen that one? There's no. You know why I haven't sent it to you yet? Because there's a nasty one floating around. Yeah. But there's another bottle cap challenge where it's like the Shaolin guy and he's got whips. Very cool.
Okay,
Yeah, Mike could play that one for you because it's clean. The current image on the WhatsApp right now that I'm looking at is a picture of who is that? Speaker Tina Rose Munya. Tina Rose Barnes. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. She was a Munya when we were kids. But anyways, Tina Rose Munya Barnes is there and welcoming to Guam Bob Wilkie, who is the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, and he is on Guam. We talked with Cousin Fred about him coming out here a couple of days ago, but Fred could neither confirm nor deny whether or not this guy was going to be making his way out here. Apparently, Fred's not allowed to confirm whether his guy, Bob Wilkie, is coming to town. That's information that can only be given by the press powers at the governor's office. Only Janella, only Crystal are allowed to say when cabinet level guys are coming to Guam.
It's true.
Anyway, so this guy's on Guam, and we'll see what magic he's going to bring us from the land of the tall Quonset hut where our white fathers live. Anyway, 20 after 6 o'clock in the morning. Got that playing around, like I said, on my WhatsApp, and you can send me WhatsApp images again. 988-5874. Got the other broadcast professional and great journalist Kevin Kerrigan in the studio this morning, and some very, very interesting recent breaking news here. For the second time, the Ninth Circuit Court now has upheld the injunction against the political status plebiscite. Dave Davis brought that case to the fore, and I remember when Dave Davis called me up when I was doing another radio station talk show and told me what he was going to do that day. He said, Ray, guess what I'm going to do? And I said, what are you going to do, Dave? He says, I'm going to go and try to apply to vote in the the plebiscite, and I reminded him that he doesn't have a drop of Chamorro blood in him, and I knew that it was not going to end well, I suppose, for this plebiscite. We've gone all the way through the court cases here in the district court, where Judge Francis Tidenko Gatewood said, yeah, Dave and his lawyers do have a point. Well, naturally, everybody on the other side of the aisle said, no. We appeal, and they appealed, and that failed, and then there was another appeal, and now this one here has failed again in the Ninth Circuit Court. Chris Adams says in the statement that he has released, the Ninth Circuit has again ruled against Guam, and this time squarely rejected the arguments that had kept this issue alive for decades, said J. Christian Adams. Guam cannot conduct the plebiscite, period, and it's time to resolve these issues with broad consensus that respects the 15th Amendment instead. So we look now to General Levin Camacho, who I presume would be the guy holding the bag now on whether or not we'd move forward with this case. And have you already sent the email over, Kev?
We shall see.
We'll see what happens next. I don't know. I don't know if there's any more shoes that we might be able to see drop on this case. And as I said, maybe just take it to a point where let's have that, as they say, broad consensus, universal suffrage. Everybody votes.
Christian is waiting for your phone call.
He is waiting for the phone call. I haven't talked to that guy in years. You think he remembers me? Well,
who could forget you?
Again, we shall see. 6:23 in the morning. Do you have that phone number? Did I give you the phone? I'll give you the phone number when we hit the break. Is it Christian? No, you'd like him. He's got long hair. He's kind of like a hippie lawyer.
Right.
I'm totally making that up. Just like one of those guys. You remember that movie where the buffalo roam? Welcome to the program, my friends. Hit it.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
We're going to have to call the Election Commission to determine who actually came in first. I've got on my screen James Howard, Ismael, John Ray Titano, J.B. St. Nicholas, Jennifer Post, Schnitger, Mark Mendiola, Pam Duvall, Tony and Annette and Pinko Ada, Nick Perlowski, and Lady D in that order on my screen. But Ismael believes that he came in number one and sent me a screen cap from his phone that indeed shows him ahead of James Howard. It's weird. It's freaky. I don't know. Call Kenley and Guerrero.
But he does
take this to court.
He does get the usual prize, right?
He is top fan. He gets top fan this morning. So even though he didn't come in first, he's got top fan. So does Nick Perlowski, as a matter of fact. There seem to be a lot of top fans floating around. I have no idea how you get that kind of thing, but whatever it is, will it help get you a cup of coffee at McDonald's? 6:24 in the morning. Other folks online, I see Lady D, as I said, Anita Muffness with the pretty Valentine's eyes. Big sister Shelley Gibson is wondering when the power is going to be going out next up at the house. It was off and then came back on. And what? Marcus McManus saying, Buenos and half a day. Sandra De Leon Guerrero says, phew, Monday down, half a day, Guahan. Ismael, didn't I just go to sleep 3 hours ago? Thank you, math homework, for keeping me up all night. Wait a second. Who's math homework? Your kids? I don't think your kids are old enough to have really hard math homework.
No. It's his new training.
Oh, is it?
Algebra. That's tough stuff. He was sending it in the other chat group, and he was like, what?
Really?
Yeah.
What's that algebra for?
I don't know.
Didn't you take that in high school?
I think if he told us, he'd have to kill us.
Never mind X and Y. They'll be fine by themselves. Morning, Mongs, says Sister Shelley. Check out the picture I sent. I saw it, and there's nothing I can do about it. Commissioner Roy Gamboa online. Vivian Cunningham. Hope you enjoyed your meal last night over at the Pokey Place. John Dueña says, good morning. Is it too early to go back to sleep? Now, I was pondering that question at 4 o'clock when I woke up. The alarm on the phone goes off at 4:05, and I woke up at 4, and I thought, do I want to try to get that last couple of seconds of sleep in there, or should I just get up now? And I'm the laziest guy that you know, and I just kind of curled back into the blanket and waited for the alarm to go off at 4:05. I'm just going to take advantage of every possible minute that I can without having to get up and do the morning routine.
Why 4:05, Ray?
Just cause I don't know.
That's
I
odd.
don't. It's just
kind
a
of
thing. And it's been 4:05 for as long as I've been doing this show. It's 4:15 before, but still the same thing. I still wake up at 3:55 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's just. I think it's just the idea that I can give myself a couple of the luxury of a couple of extra minutes in bed.
You know what's fun is that on Sundays, I usually wake up about 2:30.
Yeah,
Can't go back to sleep.
I don't. That part I don't understand. Carlos Barreto's online. John Duenas, do I get to do? Can I do over on the weekend? You know what? This Guam, you can keep the weekend going as long as you want to. I once kept the summer of 1983 going until about 1997.
It was a good year.
It was a very good year. It's the summer of '83, the summer that never ended. And if you were with me that summer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. James Lester Lonzo is there. Rita Camacho Hugo. Good morning. Snitches get stitches. Posting for a friend, says James Howard. Boy, that is going to end up to be one of the very, very interesting stories, one of the interesting cases that's floating around here on Guam. Lillian Cruz is online. Buenos, and say a prayer for the Gilroy community. Big Sister Shelley will remember when we were just little kids went to spend the summer in Atwater, California, which is not too far away from Gilroy. And the entire place, hot summer, and you can smell the garlic in the fields. Gilroy is the garlic capital of the United States of America.
Well, you don't have to worry about vampires.
Apparently not. But I always thought that was one of the more interesting things about that place. I think we might still have a couple of step relatives living out in that part of the world. James Howard says, I decline the honor for the fact I'm GS-14 top secret classified and want to keep in the shadows. The less attention, the better. Cheryl Ochai is there. Adonis Quito Mendiola is on. Dave Torrey and Rick Leone. Brett Evan. Good morning, Brett. Nice to hear from you. Jerry LG is on. Cheryl Distor Sung. Good to see you. When we gonna you know what? I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start training again for that race out in the Philippines. So if you're not coming with me, you can help me train. You can chase me on the bicycle, and that will be part of the training process. Johnny Swong and Greg Karabrock from over at Take Care. Good morning, JZ. Timing Lou, Charlene Marchessault, Richard Leon, Rose Greeno. I got Nate Horn, Randy Kruger. Mana Silva's online, and Mana has sent to the family chat here what is this? An invitation to attend the Tidzin Complex 2K 5K Sunset Run Walk. This is going to take place on Saturday, August the 10th of 2019. That will be the second of the 5Ks that are happening that day. If you are a member of the running community, 5K, 2K, Run the Race, Sunset Race. Oh, wait a second. There's two sunset races on the 10th. This could be one of those where you have to make a decision. All right, so this one here, the Tidzin Complex, you get the pleasure of running with me and my family and hanging out and goofing off with Junie, who is the mayor of Barragata, or this one here, which is going to take place at Tomorrow Village in Aganya, which will feature a grand raffle prize of a trip to Osaka, Japan. Nice. What's the name? Dotonbori. Go hang out there, get some barbecued crab, and you can buy some really small slivers, potato chip-sized slivers of Kobe beef for $20 or something like that. Who else is online? Landon Adlet is there. Lady D says, I voted in the last plebiscite and the politicians didn't like the result, so they buried it. Simon Sanchez is hanging out with us this morning. Chantel Connolly says, best radio station on Guam? Is that so? Huh, how about that? Appreciate the nod there. We'll put that in the plebiscite as well. And Sahara Defensor is online. Sahara, do me a favor. See if you can get the boss to chime in. There's a lot of people that have got questions about the Federal Election Commission and the findings of errors in his campaign financial report. He's addressed that to my satisfaction on the front page of the Guam Daily Post. The real story, though, I want to talk with Mikey, is on page 5. Delegate. Build-up funds may still be at risk. It is possible the decision may affect Guam projects, but there's no clear indication yet as to where those funds are going to be coming from. I'm talking about what happened over the weekend. U.S. Supreme Court on their Friday cleared the way for the Trump administration to snag $2.5 billion from the Pentagon's budget and use that to build the wall to protect the southern borders of the mainland United States. And you're going, okay, well, that's nice. Trumpy got what he wanted. But where is the money going to come from? Where in the Pentagon budget is that money going to come from? I mentioned that yesterday, and sure enough, here comes a delegate going, oh, yeah, Ray's got a point there. I remember when we were talking about it when it was a brand new issue just a few months ago. But until the Supreme Court had spoken, there really wasn't much to worry about. Now they have. Now we better start worrying.
Yeah, well, the Pentagon should have the money to spare. After all, they lost $1 trillion right before 9/11.
Forget that conspiracy. You'll have to remind me. You'll have to enlighten me. I've forgotten that one.
Well, what Rumsfeld said, he had a press conference about it just the day before.
On 9/10?
On 9/10, yes. And then 9/11 happened. And still, no one can account for that money.
Inside job?
Oh, well, I think so. But there's a lot of people that disagree.
Tinfoil hat? 6:32. Hey, you know what? It's time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here is Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the chairman of the Guam Legislature's Finance Committee withdrew his fiscal year 2020 budget proposal submitted on Friday and reintroduced it yesterday as Bill 186 after making technical corrections to it. Senator Joe San Augustine's original budget bill and its replacement were developed under the guidance of the legislature's Office of Finance and Budget, whose director is Stephen Guerrero. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero submitted her budget plan back in April. The original version of Senator San Augustine's bill proposed an overall reduction of $2 million in appropriations to 4 public safety agencies: the Department of Corrections, Guam Fire, Department of Youth Affairs, and GPD. The original budget bill also would have cut the Guam Department of Education's budget down to $199 million, excluding charter schools. That would have been $144 million less than what Guam DOE had asked for. In a release yesterday explaining the withdrawal and resubmission of the budget bill, San Augustine said, "No budget is perfect, and this is just a starting point for discussion." He said the revised version will put tax dollars directly into schools and keep cops on the job. Andrea Cruz, a former public high school teacher accused of drug possession and issuing fake high school diplomas, has agreed to plead guilty to aggravated theft by deception and official misconduct. The drug charges against her have been dropped. Cruz was a teacher at George Washington High School. She allegedly ran a credit recovery academy school known as BAM, which stands for Believe, Achieve, and Motivate. The case involved 300 students who were reportedly issued fake diplomas and transcripts. Under the terms of her plea agreement, Cruz also agreed to cooperate with the Attorney General in the prosecution of other individuals involved in the drug trade. Contra y Peligro, a full-scale multi-agency exercise, is happening today and tomorrow. Residents are advised that there will be simulated emergency scenarios as part of the exercise at multiple locations, including but not limited to the District Court in Anigua, the Superior Court in Nagana, the Tangisan Power Plant, the Dededo Sports Complex, and other locations where increased emergency response activity will be seen. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 6:34. Swing by the nearest eye connector. Call them at 888-8888 and ask about how they can save you money on your mobile and internet plans.
Viva Guam! As Guam celebrates 75 years of liberation, Nambo Insurance honors the brave heroes who dedicated their lives to fight for our freedom. With great pride, we salute those who made our liberation possible. At Nambo Insurance, they share the same dedication to serve our community, from offering reliable home, auto, motorcycle, and business insurance to providing friendly holiday service. Nambo Insurance is dedicated to serving Guam. From your Nambo family, happy liberation, Guam.
Let me say 6:35, and a reminder that if you want the best fast food salad there is in the world, swing by the nearest Wendy's at some point and see what they've got to say about a berry burst chicken salad. So it's got the grilled chicken on top of the greens, and we're going to throw and just smother the thing with berries like strawberries and blackberries. Need more flavor? How about this feta cheese in there? And then we'll dress it all up with a raspberry vinaigrette. Feel the tortilla. feel the lawai come up in the back of the mouth, as I say, raspberry vinaigrette around breakfast time, and just let those flavors smother your face. It's all in a Berry Burst chicken salad at Wendy's.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fundamental Riders, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
If there is no traffic where you are now, the people that you want to thank for this are the people that have been driving up and down Guam's roadways since at least I have been on the road at 4:30. It's just crazy busy out there all morning long. When I went outside to take the picture of the sunrise, was just astonishing how much traffic there was out there. And there, well, it looks like there's still a little bit of traffic that is working right now. Looking at Anderson Air Force Base, Guam International Airport, the Antonio B. Wonpat International Airport. I've got what looks like a little bit of delays in both directions. Looks like coming out of the airport, after the parking garage, and then working its way up towards where the rent-a-car is. So the traffic in that direction is moving very slowly. Also building up in the opposite direction. Is it possible there might be an accident, fender bender, somebody doing some kind of looky-loo out there? Marine Corps Drive, let me see, out in this area, a little bit busy southbound over by the Kmart intersection. And just before you get to where we are over at DPW, that intersection going northbound over by Jeep TA is looking a little bit busy. You'll find some areas in San Vitores Road that are backing up a little bit this morning, and looking at the entryway to the major bases. Don't see anything in front of Navy Hospital right now. Don't see anything in front of Big Navy. That will get busy probably in about the next half hour, 45 minutes. And looking at traffic all the way up to Anderson Air Force Base, we do have some northbound traffic. And then watch out for the construction that's going to be taking place. Northbound lane. Starting at about 7 o'clock in the morning, we got some guys that are going out and doing some trenching. Pacific Data Systems is doing that, and that is a project that is going to take them right up until August or so. So watch out for traffic up in that area most of the working day. Also watch out for you if you're in on Route 4 over by the Agania Shopping Center and Wendy's on one side and McDonald's on the other. You're starting to see some markings on the roadways because there's going to be major upgrades to the downtown Agania plumbing system down there and drainage system, and that's going to start probably very, very soon. And so if you work and live and play in that part of the island, I imagine it's going to be nothing but a veil of tears for several months as they get that going. Kind of like what's going to happen when they get started on the construction that will take place from about where the ITC building is all the way up to the Archbishop Circle. I don't know. It's been a while since I've talked to anybody over at DPW about that project. I think they're still looking for guys to do the work, but that is going to be a several months long, occupy whole 2 or 3 lanes of traffic kind of construction in that area, which means that there may be times where I just swear off that whole place. Unless I'm coming in from the onward side, I don't want to know about it. 6:39 in the morning. That's long right now traffic here on The Point.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agania at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Denado 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Rediscover Talk Radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
I might be able to help and manhole replacement, says Heidi. I might be able to help with Ismail's math homework. It's looking for something about the systems of equality. Stand by. Let me see if I can take the picture and post it up on the Facebook Live so that you might be able to take a look at it and help out. It's one of those things where they show a graph. And you're supposed to, based on the shaded area in that graph, your job is to try to determine which equation best matches the solution that is seen on the screen. If I understand the instructions correctly, Mike, do you concur that those are the appropriate way to interpret the instructions?
I have no clue. I was going to give answer number 5. Answer number 5 is, why do I care? I'll never use it.
One of these days you might. I don't want to say never say never. Let me see if I can get this up on the screen. I know
there's no way I'll ever use this.
Yeah. So there's the graph, and you clearly see what's going on here with the up and the down and the sideways. So we know that there are a couple of numbers here that are shaded off in the corner, but there's 3 rows of those that are shaded. So what does that mean?
You're asking the wrong dude, bro. If I could do math, I'd be working over National Weather Service.
I might leave that up there for a couple of minutes while we're yakking about stuff. I'm going to let you go ahead and get your stuff started. 18 or so away from 7 o'clock in the morning. 888-8255, 888-TALK. And if you think that's stressful for an adult, it's stressful for everybody. They did a survey here. Parents say back to school season is the most stressful. Not only students who are stressed about school, almost 6 in 10 parents, 60% of moms and dads are so worried about their child they've lost sleep in the back-to-school season. A survey of parents of school-age kids anywhere between 5 and 18 revealed that 57% find the back-to-school season to be the most stressful time of the year. I will tell you about some of that stress. And some of it is, just the part where you're getting the kid ready for school. I got a daughter that is swapping schools this year, and she's going to be heading to Academy of Our Lady of Guam. Not too worried, because I got word that she is accepted into the honors math program, which means that she can figure this particular problem out. And the JV volleyball team, that's cool. But there's, I noted that there was in the Guam Daily Post whole section in there about parent-teacher nights and all of these other things. Orientations that you've got to attend, and I'm going, yeah, okay, on top of everything else that has to take place. But hey, it's the kids. It's important, right? You got to do that kind of thing. But then there's the whole back-to-school shopping deal, and what uniforms are you supposed to buy? What shoes go with those uniforms? And then what kind of school supplies are we going to need? Is this the year that I got to break down and buy one of those $200 scientific calculators and a partridge in a pear tree? So you can imagine that there is a kind of stress that goes around, and it is not made any better by the fact that there are really, on an island this size, not that many places where you can go back to school hunting for all of those supplies that we're talking about. It will come to a time in the next few days. That the traffic turning into Kmart will back up all the way over to Santos Hill, over by the Westin. It's going to be that bad with millions of moms and dads that are going to try to get to Kmart and National Office Supply and buy the last of the groovy binders and the last of the backpacks and all of those kinds of things. So yeah, very, very stressful time around here. 6:44 in the morning. 888-8255, 888-TALK is our number. 8255, whichever way you want to remember it, that's going to be fine. As I said, WhatsApps are available and plenty more. So we've got a couple of things that are already interesting on the table of contents. And as I said, the news story from the Ninth Circuit Court that says that they are probably just about done with any more arguments about whether or not Dave Davis should be able to vote in the plebiscite. The way the law was written, it precluded him from having a say in this, and everybody said, no, it's not really based on Dave's racial background as much as it is we say, but not made a citizen by virtue of the Organic Act or didn't live here on Guam. But forget what the ins and outs of that argument are. And so they said, no, you can interpret it any way you want to, but it is at face unconstitutional, and they've said so now 2 times. So what's the next step going to be? I believe it is Attorney General Levin Camacho is going to get to make that decision on whether he will just call for the Election Commission to take care of business and allow for a full-blown plebiscite, or maybe a conversation about just eliminating the question completely. I don't know if the activist groups that live on Guam are I don't know how they are going to respond to all of that. But if we're going to continue to have the question on decolonization, then it seems to me that there does have to be some kind of, hey, everybody on Guam, what do you think of decolonization? Which road do we get to go down? Personally, I'd like to get all of the choices back on the table, Commonwealth and free association and statehood and status quo and all of those kinds of things, and find out what my friends and neighbors have got to say about it and where their heads are at on this thing. But we'll watch and we'll wait and see where the next shoes are going to drop. I'll bet you that somewhere out there in the world, Dave Davis has got the biggest, probably most smug and annoying smile on his face. On whether you're behind him or not, if you know him, then you can already see that kind of almost my precious. We don't have to have the plebiscite because I have the plebiscite is my precious.
I met Dave when I was over at the other place, and I don't know. I don't think the man knows how to smile.
Oh, no, he trust me, he's got that in there.
He was a little upset when he came to see us.
6:46 in the morning, 888-8255. Shawnee Gumatau's on the line. Hey, Shawnee, how you doing?
Hey, good morning, Ray. How are you?
You know what? Never better, and completely amused and loving the analysis and some of the big stories and news that we're talking about these days. What you been up to?
Oh, my goodness, getting ready for this morning. That's why I was calling. We'll be closed this morning for the Contra Peligro exercise. So the entire judiciary, both at the Guam Judicial Center and the Northern Court Satellite, will be participating in the full-scale emergency response exercise.
But I got to go see my probation guy.
You should have already worked it out with your probation officer.
Oh, I see. All right. If not, hopefully the marshals don't come after me. But
they think they're all prepping for that, so that's they should have been already out done already.
Okay, 6:47 in the morning. So why are they closing? What I don't understand. The judiciary.
Oh, well, because we're participating in the exercise, so we're going to be an active part and testing not only our response plans at the court, but how we engage with obviously the National Guard, the CST, the entire Homeland Security and law enforcement infrastructure. So it's a pretty big deal for us.
Wow. Can you give me an idea of what the scenario would look like? Because I don't recall the judiciary playing such a role in Contra Peligros in the past. Maybe I wasn't looking, but are you guys active participants in this? Is the scenario some kind of active shooter thing, or dirty bomb over at the court?
I will say, I think according to what I've heard other places, you're absolutely right on the money. So just when it happens, where it happens, how our marshals, how our probation, how our entire all 400 employees of the judiciary respond. That's what's being tested today. So it's a good opportunity for us to test our plans that we've had in place for a couple of years. And Ray, and just from experience, response plans are pretty fluid, and there could be some changes because of it. And so we're absolutely welcoming the fact that we're bringing it to the third branch of government.
Yeah, well, it's very, very interesting that you would do it. And if you think about it, yeah, maybe that's a scenario that there does need to have plans for that get tested every once in a while. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously we deal with disputes every day, and so something like this and at this scale it's a real great opportunity for the branch. In the past, obviously we can go to different places like a hospital or different open
like the airport. Yeah.
Schools and airport, but to be able to do it at the judiciary or in the court system is absolutely going to be a huge test of our capability and a test of our response, especially to these types of activities. And because like in all facilities, we all have to be ready. So we're very excited about this opportunity today to be part of the exercise.
Will you play a role? Are you aware? Has anybody given you a card yet that says whether you are going to be able to continue to do your job as a spokesperson for the judiciary? Do you get to be a victim? Do you get to be the hero?
Believe it or not, I get to be part of the exercise. So we'll test how I communicate with you all, and in this type of event. And obviously for me, it's been a lot since top off. This is definitely going to be a lot of fun, and also just to make sure that even I and what the administrator of the courts does in support of of getting the word out and doing those things, that's also being tested as well.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Actually, we were going to get a hold of you because there's the 2020 to 2023 Strategic Planning Survey that you sent out a note on behalf of Catherine Merriman, Justice Merriman, out to the community a few days ago. I had not yet had a chance to take a look at the attachments or plan to be part of this Strategic Planning Survey.
Oh, I hope you're part of it. I think this is, at least from my recollection, this might be the first time we've engaged some of our important people, like our media partners. The Guam Bar Association is going to be involved in this. All of our stakeholders across the executive branch, the consular corps. There's quite a number of folks that are the Guam Chamber of Commerce that are being asked to participate in the survey. As we think about what your court system wants to do over the next 4 years, it's good to look at it internally, as looking at a high performance court survey, but how do our stakeholders, people like yourselves who use and work with our system, how do they view what we do? So it's absolutely invaluable, Ray. I would encourage you to do it. And those who are listening today who received that email from the National Center of State Courts, who's our contractor for this particular effort, hopefully they'll be able to respond as well. So it gives us good feedback.
I mean, in terms of use, I mean, things like police clearances, court clearances, reports of one kind or another that more and more people seem to be asking for these days. If there was a more automated, lower cost way to do that, if there was a way that you could get the documentation that you needed without having to drive into that parking lot that you guys have, I think those four among the stakeholders would be the most effective uses or more efficient uses of the system.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think technology is going to be part of that. And also, Ray, we're going to be doing paper surveys to those who come into the judiciary and to at the Guam Judicial Center, and as well as the Northern Court Satellite. So over the next couple of weeks, you might see me asking people downstairs at both facilities, asking for their input. So we're hoping to get kind of a real big cross section of our community and their responses, and then help put what we believe should be the plan for our branch in the next 4 years.
Yeah, well, going online with a couple of guys on Facebook, Nate says, put the criminals in jail rather than pretrial release. Fewer people to keep track of while they're out on parole, just a thought. But in terms of keeping track of some of the people whose cases have not yet been adjudicated and whose names are just beginning to appear on the dockets, we're just a few days away, actually a couple of days away from the launch of the monitoring program, right?
That's right. So, I mean, remember, we live in a nation of laws and rules. So, obviously, for us, presumption of innocence starts with that. But then going through the entire system and how it works, it's not just us. And I think we've talked about it many times. The Attorney General of Guam is a critical component of this, and how they support law enforcement. And then the defense bar, which either they're very good or they're defending their clients. So we'll see where it all pans out. But yes, it's one big system, and obviously our judicial officers are a part of it, how they interpret the laws, how we all support them, the 400 employees plus that support them. So believe it or not, the STRAT plan is an important step to that, and the input's critical, Ray, and I can't stress it enough. And in the past, you're right, the efficiency of how do we get in and get out, how do we can we get more stuff online? And I think that's part of this. And so we're going to be listening and then finding ways to help maybe fix those things.
I got you. Have you guys made any inroads into moving some of the homeless away from your corner?
I think we started by putting up some fencing around the area to keep them out, because, I mean, they've been using everything from our water and putting stuff down or having to clean up a lot. But we try to encourage them to, there's other services that can be provided. We've referred them to all of our stakeholders in the area. So we'll continue to do that. And we understand the situation, but we also want to make sure that our patrons, when they walk up to the facility, are safe.
Well, I don't know what their situation is. The situation is they don't want to work. They just want to stand at the intersection and bum money for people. There are ample services for people that are truly in need. But my guess is these guys have figured out that there's so many kind souls on Guam that'll help them out a buck at a time. And they've found that your intersection's a pretty good one to do that at.
And again, we want to ensure that
put up big signs on either side of the intersection. Says, don't give money to these people. They're not really poor.
I think the construction might chase that away for a while, so we'll see how all this goes. The rough war is going to be very busy, And GWA just told us that right in front of the courthouse is going to be a lot of construction.
Oh, yeah. I got a note from Heidi. Sewer lines in a one-year project. They're going to be doing manhole replacements and things like that. So it's going to be crazy. If you thought it was tough to get to the courthouse now, just wait until they start digging up Route 4.
Right in front of it. The inside lane of Route 4 and O'Brien Drive is going to be gummed up for at least a year or two. So we're happy they're doing it. But again, it's going to be
it's kind of a long time coming. I'm trying to recall. I think I was about 15 or 16 years old the last time they did any major construction and widening on Route 4. I remember it was a long time ago because I was in the car with my Uncle Joe, and I remember him going, "I hope they hit oil." they were digging so deep. I hope they hit oil. That'd be all right. Hey, Johnny, I'm going to let you go because I know, among other things, you're also a dad getting kids ready for school. How's that chore coming along?
Well, summer's still on, Ray, so they're crashed out. Thank the Lord. So they have school starting. I believe it's next week for the two older ones, and the little girl gets to go to school a week after that. So we're final weeks of summer, and encourage all the parents out there, get as much done right now before school begins. We're all about to be very busy.
I got that feeling. 6:56 in the morning. Shawnee, I'm going to let you run. Always a delight talking with you. And so today, the judiciary is going to be closed. Does this affect you guys tomorrow as well? Because it's a 2-day contra peligro.
No, just today from 10 until 12 today.
All right, so after 12, if you got court business, you can still go in.
Yes, correct.
That's a Roger. I'll talk to you pretty soon, Sean. Have a great morning. 6:57 and change, 888-825-5880-TALK. Rich asking what more on the Dave Davis case. Actually, if you stay close to the radio, about 7:35, we'll get Dave Davis on the radio. He's available for a phone call and a broadcast interview, and we will be talking with him in just a little bit about the ruling out of the Ninth Circuit today and the road that took him there. Kevin has sent me the Ninth Circuit decision on paper on a PDF, and I'm going to assume that is available now on the Guam Daily Post website. If you'd like to take a look at it and do what us in journalism and broadcast commentary game do most of the time is we'll get something like this. 45 pages, and we ain't going to read all 45 pages. Here's the trick. We're going to get to 45 pages, and we go all the way to the end and see what the court and the panel at the court has got to say about the decision before them, and that's usually where the headlines start. But there is some good background in there. So while the news is playing in a couple of minutes, I'm going to print that out myself and take a look at it so I'm a little bit better prepared for an interview with Dave Davis, who I have interviewed a number of times before, and he used to be one of those guys who called the radio station every day and complain about something. And most of the time he was on track. There was every once in a while that I thought, well, you're kind of digging for things. I remember the conversation that we had when he decided that he was going to go digging and apply to vote in the plebiscite. And I said, this is going to end in tears for somebody. And I wonder how much has been spent. How much has been spent by the government of Guam defending their position on the plebiscite over the initial court case at district court, then on to the two court battles that were lost in the Ninth Circuit, and maybe a little bit more by way of analysis if we can get Bob Klitsky. Guarantee Bob Klitsky is going to be talking about this on the radio at 4. But it'd be nice to get some guidance from him here in just a little bit. Other items in the table of contents, and I barely scratched the surface on this. Started getting word yesterday about different conversations that were going on online between Keith Mesa, who was the victim in that shooting up in Jigo the other night, and in fact a video that is on his Facebook page where he expresses concerns about being referred to as a snitch. Now, if he was in prison, that would be a terrible thing, but he was not in prison. Is it possible that somebody from inside prison, somebody inside the top of some kind of criminal empire here, was worried that Keith Mesa was going to finger him publicly in social media and took care of the business? It's going to be an interesting story. There's already some really, really kind of shady things going on, and it's going to be very, as I say, interesting to see where this ends up in that investigation. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG. I got you 93.3 The Point. Fox News Live coming up. I got Kevin Kerrigan coming up, Jerry Roberts, and the Extra Point. And yeah, about 7:35, right after the headlines there, we'll talk with Dave Davis. Stick around, Brown.
Police search the home, the car, and the social media profile of a suspected killer. I'm Pam Puso, Fox News. Big questions need answers in Gilroy, California, where police say a gunman opened fire at a food festival yesterday.
Our preeminent and principal concern at this point is motivation.
FBI Deputy Special Agent Craig Fair, Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more live from our West Coast Bureau.
Pam, police did confirm media reports of the shooter's identity, 19-year-old Santino Ligan. Gilroy Police Chief Scott Smithy says he was armed with a rifle purchased illegally in Nevada. That less than a minute after he opened fire, police at that festival responded.
And despite the fact that they were outgunned with their handguns against a rifle, those three officers were able to fatally wound that suspect, and the event ended very quickly.
And all three people were killed, a 6-year-old boy, 13-year-old girl, and a man in his 20s. Several others were also wounded, Pam.
Thanks, Jessica. Pushback on the floor of the U.S. Senate as the majority leader defends himself against what he calls modern-day McCarthyism. Fox's Jarrett Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
After blocking a move by Democrats to pass election security legislation, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was described by critics as un-American and a Russian asset, criticism he's meeting with an angry response.
Let me make this crystal clear for the hyperventilating hacks who haven't actually followed this issue.
McConnell calls the Democratic proposal far from bipartisan and says he has a record of supporting election security. Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer responds.
If Leader McConnell takes umbrage at his election security critics, I challenge him. Prove them wrong.
And Schumer wants money added to spending bills for states to harden election infrastructure. Pam.
Thanks, Jared. On Wall Street, the Dow up 29. This is Fox News.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE. The smarter choice.
Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Calaguan Hapa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mescla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mescla, a true taste of Guam.
The battle between President Trump and a prominent black congressman still simmering.
President Trump is keeping up his attacks on Baltimore, tweeting that under the leadership of Congressman Elijah Cummings, the city has the worst crime statistics in the nation. The Reverend Al Sharpton in Baltimore today said the president attacks a lot of people, but has a particular venom for blacks and people of color.
He attacks other whites, but he never said that their districts or their states are places that no human being wants to live.
Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney insists that the president's tweets have nothing to do with race. In Washington, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
This afternoon, the president met with a group of inner-city pastors. One of them says the president insisted the gathering was not damage control. 2 more Americans have lost their lives in Afghanistan.
A U.S. official says an Afghan soldier killed 2 U.S. troops in southern Afghanistan. The identities of the 2 service members killed will be released when next of kin notifications are complete. This comes as the Trump administration engages in high-level peace talks with the Taliban.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. According to officials, the Afghan soldier was wounded and is in custody. A heartbroken mother is defending her husband, calling the deaths of the couple's 1-year-old twins a tragic accident. The New York man is facing charges after allegedly leaving the children in a hot car last week.
Temperatures had reached into the high 80s the day this happened, and the little boy and girl were both reportedly found foaming at the mouth. 39-year-old Juan Rodriguez was arrested at the scene in the Bronx, where he had pulled over after work Friday when he realized his twins were in the back seat, unresponsive and not breathing.
Fox's Laura Engel. The family is now trying to raise money to cover funeral expenses and legal fees. In New York, I'm Pam Puso. This is Fox News.
We understand what matters to you because at Docomo Pacific, we're a family too. With the Now Family program, mom, dad, and kids stay connected on the latest devices the whole family can enjoy. For just $155 a month, get 3 lines with 30 gigs of 4G LTE data each, and endless use of your favorite apps without affecting your monthly data bucket. Add more, get more, save more. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fundamental Riders, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has upheld Guam District Court Judge Francis Tadenko Gatewood's decision, striking down the Guam plebiscite law as unconstitutional because it is race-based and in violation of the 15th Amendment. The appeals court denied the government of Guam's appeal and affirmed Judge Tadenko Gatewood's injunction against the proposed non-binding plebiscite that is meant to gauge the political status preferences of Guam's native inhabitants by asking whether they prefer statehood, independence, or free association. Retired Air Force officer Arnold Dave Davis filed the lawsuit after he tried to register for the decolonization registry so he could vote in the plebiscite. His attempt to register was denied because Davis is not a native inhabitant of Guam. In a release announcing the decision, Davis's legal counsel, Christian Adams, said, "The Ninth Circuit has again ruled against Guam, and Guam cannot conduct the plebiscite, period," he said. "It's time to resolve these issues with broad consensus that respects the 15th Amendment instead." Family and friends are mourning the death of Keith Castro, who was shot and killed in Jigo Sunday night. The motive for his murder remains unclear. Police have not yet released details, but the day before he died, Castro posted on Facebook Live and talked about certain defendants awaiting trial in jail who, he said, have been spreading rumors describing him as a snitch. In his Facebook post, Castro said, "I ain't a snitch, and I do not plan on going to jail." Castro was shot around 8:45 Sunday night at a home in a residential neighborhood on Chalantun Fred Cabeza, just off Route 15 in Jigo. He was pronounced dead at Guam Regional Medical City at 9:50 Sunday night. We'll have more news after this.
The summer of Jeep, Compass, Cherokee, Wrangler, Cars Plus in Mighty. Your new adventure starts now. Buy the 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the year and get a new Jeep Wrangler Sport for $268 per paycheck. Or get a new Jeep Compass Sport, only $167 per paycheck. Let them hear you coming in the new 2019 Jeep Cherokee. Buy for $205 per paycheck. And get financing as low as 1.99% on all Jeep models. Come see why you'll be kicking it at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
IHOP now has buttermilk crispy chicken made with all natural chicken breast and a signature blend of seasonings. Why am I running? Because IHOP now has buttermilk crispy chicken made with all natural chicken breast and a signature blend of seasonings. Whoa! We're talking chicken sandwiches, chicken and waffles, even chicken and pancakes. Move it, Gray Van! IHOP has crispy chicken!
Run in to try IHOP's new buttermilk crispy chicken strips and pancakes for just $6.99. For a limited time, price and participating restaurants may vary.
10 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. The chairman of the Guam Legislature's Finance Committee withdrew the fiscal year 2020 budget proposal he submitted Friday and reintroduced it yesterday after making technical corrections to it. Senator Joe San Augustine's original budget bill and its replacement were developed under the guidance of the legislature's Office of Finance and Budget, whose director is Stephen Guerrero. The original version proposed an overall $2 million reduction in spending at 4 public safety agencies: the Department of Corrections, Guam Fire, the Department of Youth Affairs, and the Guam Police Department. The original budget bill also would have cut the Department of Education's budget down to $199 million, excluding charter schools. That would have been $144 million less than what Guam DOE had asked for in its 2020 budget request. In a release yesterday explaining the withdrawal and resubmission of the bill, San Augustine said, "No budget is perfect, and this is just a starting point for discussion." He said the revised budget bill will put our tax dollars directly into schools and keep cops on the job. Andrea Cruz, a former public high school teacher accused of drug possession and issuing fake high school diplomas, has agreed to plead guilty to aggravated theft by deception and official misconduct. The drug charges against her have been dropped. Cruz was a teacher at George Washington High School. She was allegedly running a credit recovery academy, an unlicensed homeschool program, under the name of BAM, Achieve, Motivate, and Believe. The case allegedly involved 300 students who were reportedly issued bogus diplomas and transcripts. Under the terms of her plea deal, Cruz has also agreed to cooperate with the Attorney General in the prosecution of other individuals, one of whom, Maria Untalan, is her former partner and defendant in a drug case. Cruz now faces up to 3 years in prison with credit for time served. She will be sentenced at a later date, her next hearing scheduled for August 1st. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at our weather.
Not too different from yesterday. Partly sunny skies with isolated showers. We'll see some thunderstorms out in over the mountains today. South winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Highs around 88 degrees, and overnight lows should be about 89 degrees. What do I get? Highs around 88, highs near 89. I think you meant lows near 79 here.
Could have been.
Could have been. I don't know, crazy morning. Sunset, 6:49. Sunrise this morning was 6:05. Should be about the same thing this morning. We'll take a look at the weather radar and some crazy stuff happening. Sunday, the wind coming out of the east. Yesterday, wind coming out of the west. And today, we get the wind coming out the south.
Yep, south-southeast breeze is blowing, and they are not very strong, so they're going to move anything that does form very slowly across the island. See some showers down to the southwest of us, but they're going to stay offshore. A little bit of sparkling of showers down to the southeast. They may move across during the latter parts of the drive this morning. What we've got here is the same situation as yesterday, as you described. Not much different. The only difference is the direction things will come from. Today we're looking probably at the island effect thunderstorms affecting mostly the western, central, and even some of the northern areas along the west coast of the island. So different than yesterday. Yesterday, when a lot of the heavy stuff really pounded over on the east side. Looking at satellite here real quick. No major weather systems right in our right area, but we got some blobbage down to the south. That may get dragged up by this very weak tropical disturbance that you can see spinning up north of here. That's 93W Invest. We'll see how that works out. But for right now, just expect a chance of showers and maybe some of those afternoon thunderstorms as we get on through the heat of the day.
Gotcha. That's news and weather together right here on The Point.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
I got you. You know what? It's Tuesday. Just FYI, it's Tuesday, and I know you don't need the guy on the radio to tell you what day of the week it is, but I want to tell you one of the benefit of it being Tuesday is you go to Ruby Tuesday and check them out with the 2 endless garden bars, like an open salad bar that they've got there. 2 tasty entrees and a dessert to share for one terrific price. Ruby Tuesdays, 2-for-1 Tuesdays offers 2 complete meals for a terrific value, just $25.99. You and a friend eating for practically nothing. Available all day, every Tuesday for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays. Also brought to you by Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar because they got batteries now. American President lines, where the guys over at APL have got a global presence, but a local home. And then, of course, Cars Plus. It is the summer of Jeep. for one more day. Sale ends tomorrow, so get a test drive of the Jeep Wrangler and then go to the parts department and check out all the different ways that you can customize this Jeep to make it completely, truly your own. 7:15, that's news and weather together and all the sponsors right here in the Point.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Let's see. It's usually around this time of the hour. I like to take a look at who's playing around with the Facebook Live this morning. It's a beautiful crowd. Therese Uggan-Rigel is online. I got Jacqueline Gokwe Cruz, Dave Evans, Kotwal Singh, Tom Tahadzi, Havasani Cruz. Nice to see you there, pretty. Gina Kono and Richard Clark. Mark Mendiola is also online, as is Joe Cruz. Rudy Magallanes is there. And what's that, James Howard? I like your response to every thuggish person. Deport. Yeah, can we? And let's deport some of the thugs that are homegrown guys as well, in addition to. And yes, because I just think there would be a nice way to populate a whole one of those uninhabited islands north of Guam and just send some guys up there that have worn out their welcome in polite society here on Guam and give them a box of seeds and enough water for them to drink and brush their teeth and plant those seeds with and just enjoy, have a good life. Don't worry about rules and regulations. You just live up there and be your own self. 7:16 in the morning, and I had the opportunity while the news was playing to print out the 41-page decision of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Arnold Davis, on behalf of himself and all others similarly situated, versus the Guam Election Commission, including at this time Alice Tyron, Martha Ruth, Joe Mesa, Johnny Titano, Josh Renorio, I think should be Tenorio, Don Weekly, and Lenny Rapadas as defendants and appellates here in the case. Filed July 29th of 2019, and it basically says, guess what? That whole plebiscite law that you've got there from 2000, it is unconstitutional, and they'll go over, and I'll go over a little bit of the chapter and verse. Not too much new in here. If you were paying attention to the first appeal, what they've done here is basically upheld that first one. They take long, loving looks at Rice v. Cayetano and a few other pieces of statute, a little bit of paper chase going on in this, and basically come up with the same conclusion, and that is the plebiscite conversation with the law as written on Guam is unconstitutional and cannot move forward from there. Are there going to be other shoes to drop? Are there going to be other statements? I suppose there will. We'll see what the guys over at the Attorney General's office and the Governor's office and the Guam Election Commission now have to say about moving forward with this. Are we all done with the spend in this particular case? I had mentioned in the closing minutes of the last hour a very curious case that Kevin Kerrigan was talking about, and I referred to it as the Mesa case. Sorry, it's the Castro case, the victim of the shooting up in Jigo the other night, and wondering out loud if comments about him being a snitch, him referring to himself as not a snitch, if that gave rise to sufficient animosity in the community for somebody to want him dead. And the answer is, I don't know. All of that stuff is. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting investigation as they move forward with all of that. Flo Cruz online, and Mark Cruz is hanging out with us this morning. Hafa-Janae Uggan, it's good to have you online as well. Pam says they should all be deported to an uninhabited island specifically for the crime. There'll be a Seki Island, a rape island, and a killer island. The methamphetamine island, and I don't know, a couple of other stories.
You know, the British once did that. You know what happened to there?
Turned into Australia, mate.
It sure did.
Jerry Roberts in the studio. We're going to be going over in a couple of minutes the extra point. I don't know that I have a specific rule in today's extra point, but if you can't get enough of Jerry Roberts, and not as though there's enough of him to go around to begin with, but today it's 2 times Jerry. You get him on the radio with the extra point, and then the Guam Daily Post and the unwritten workplace rules, and a great article that he's got in there about loud music and colognes and eating and leaving food in the refrigerator and all of those kinds of things that should be written down somewhere, but never are.
Never are.
All right, good to see you, Jerry. How you doing?
I'm good this morning. You?
Nah, frisky. There's multiple friskiness here that we can have based on some of the stories that we're talking about. I barely scratched the table of contents, but it's some interesting things that are going on and some interesting stories and rulings now that will have an impact, I think, on policy down the road, especially where it comes to the plebiscite. 7:19 in the morning, and we'll take a quick look at the markets before we do anything else. Looks like we've got a mixed closing on the markets. Dow Jones Industrial Average is in the green today by almost 30 points. NASDAQ closed down 36 points to run down to 82.93. The S&P 500 at 30.20, off by about almost 5 points there. FTSE is in the green. The Nikkei is down. The Hang Seng is down. The Shanghai is down. And the DAX is down as well. The only other market, the only other index that seems to be up this morning is the Misery Index, and that's just the way it is. What was it? I'm trying to remember. I thought I'd heard somebody on Fox saying why it was bad today with the two smaller markets. I can't remember what it was. 57 and a nickel for a gallon. A barrel of West Texas crude. That number is up from where it was yesterday, 56.20 yesterday, and it shot up to $57.05 a barrel. Don't have the numbers on Tappas crude because I was busy reading the decision on the appeal in the Ninth Circuit Court, and it's 41 pages. And, you know, people that know me know I move my lips when I read. So I've got these little blisters on my lips now from reading too fast.
It'll take you a while to go through 41 pages.
Yeah. Something like that.
How much Blistex will that be?
That'll be 2 tubes of Blistex before the morning is all done. JR, 7:21 in the morning. I'll get those Tappas numbers while you're taking care of the extra point. Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
If you walk into work this morning and the CEO of your organization asks you to list all the things you want to accomplish in the foreseeable future, how would you respond? We'll explain a brilliant concept from the legendary Warren Buffett, one that we can all use, and that's coming up next on The Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
As the story goes, Warren Buffett sat down to talk with his pilot of 10 years, Mike Flint. He wanted to discuss Flint's career goals. Buffett smiled and said, "The fact that you're still working for me tells me I'm not doing my job." Buffett knows that a good manager is one who helps his workers develop and advance on their goals. He asked Flint to perform a simple exercise based on what Buffett calls his 5-25 rule. First, you list the 25 things you want to accomplish in the foreseeable future. This could be anything, job-related or otherwise. The only limit is your imagination. Second, you rank these items in order of importance and circle the top 5. Most people can come up with 25, but have trouble choosing the top 5. Flint managed to get through it all and handed it to Buffett, all 25 listed and the top 5 selected, who then responded, "I see the top 5. Now what are you going to do with the remaining 20 items?" Flint replied, "The top 5 are my primary focus, but the other 20 come in at a close second. They are not as urgent, but I still plan to give them dedicated effort." He said he would work on those as he could while pursuing the 5 priorities. Buffett shot back, "No, you've got it wrong. Everything you didn't circle the top 5 just became your avoid at all cost list. No matter what, these things get no attention from you until you've succeeded with your top 5. Well, Flint was stunned. Would you be stunned? There has never been any time in history when it's been more important to be able to make choices and stick with them. Almost all of us suffer from the bright, shiny object syndrome. We're following a path and then see something new, and then we go do that. Pretty soon, we see another shiny object, and we start chasing that one. On and on it goes. The reality is that our attention is under attack as never before. We have too many options, and there are more coming after us every day. We're also afflicted with FOMO, the fear of missing out. And because we think we have to be involved in everything, we lose track of what we say is important. So many choices, and it's unlikely that will change anytime soon, if ever. In fact, our options are likely only going to expand as we advance further in our careers. Our odds of success improve when we narrow our focus and follow one path, become proficient with it, then pursue the next thing. Trying to do too many things at once can lead to success in nothing. Tough as it may be to consider, the realistic chances that we'll do well with items outside of our top 5 are slim, very slim. More likely, they'll only serve to distract us from our main goals. So what's your 25? Then, what's your top 5 in order of priority? Can you choose? Can you choose? And then, can you stick with them? That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
The avoid at all cost list.
Yeah.
I like that. Now it has a name. I didn't know it had a name. I had no idea that there was this other way to look at it, and you're absolutely right. And there's not one of us that doesn't have some kind of a to-do list that the honey-do list or whatever, whoever puts it together for you, where you kind of look at it and go, I want to do the fun ones first.
Oh yeah.
I want to knock the fun ones out. I want to knock the ones that are the most adventurous, that will bring me the most bang for the buck, and all of that, as opposed to the work that you really don't want to do. I had to write some almost legalese stuff yesterday, and I was avoiding that. I was avoiding that like you wouldn't believe, and finally knuckled into it. Glad I got it done, but still, it was not the most fun thing I did yesterday.
Yeah, well, Buffett's got a great point, and I'm glad he put the name on there for the avoid at all cost list, because I do it too. I teach some of this stuff in the training I do, and yet I have all these things I want to do, all these projects I want to take on.
Yep.
And if I don't prioritize, I will do that bright, shiny object thing and continuously, and then you're up against the wall, and you're always on some kind of a monstrous deadline.
But I've maybe gone down a rabbit hole that's going to be irrelevant. And,
Sure.
And so the bright, shiny objects these days, and I think that we've learned that it is a detriment to kids and young people. I think it's just as much of a detriment to adults as well as social media.
Yeah.
And I caught myself looking at my Instagram while you were doing the riff. It's the multitasking that we pretend that we can do, is to be able to look at your Facebook, look at your Instagrams or Twitters or whatever, while you're supposed to be doing something else or paying attention,
Which drives me
to
nuts,
something
by the
else.
way.
What's that?
You're looking at your phone so much.
But there's news on the phone.
But I have news over here.
You got news over there. Yeah, but there's news over here. This is a circular thing here. And if I don't see what's going on Facebook, then I miss all of the brilliance that comes from people like Rudy Magallanes and Richard Leon. It is now the whole way of the world. But what are we telling the kids now? Get off the phone.
That's right.
Enjoy life.
Enjoy life.
Travel.
Do
more.
All that stuff.
That's a PME riff from Twitter yesterday. It's all news. I swear to God, I'm working.
We don't like choosing, do we?
No.
We want to do all of it. We want it all. Well, you can't have it all. I'm sorry.
Well, it's the all, and then you talk about some bright shiny objects and things like that, and every once in a while, and you have to account for things that will drop into your lap. I was looking at my email the other day, and there was a small advert in the email for a new feature that is available for one of my favorite pieces of equipment here at the radio station. So drop everything. I'm going to upgrade this box. Oh, yeah. And I love the way the technology allows you to be able to pull firmware out of the air and drop it into a into a thing, and then all of a sudden it's like the box is brand new again.
Yeah.
And significant technology and all of that.
Or apps, various apps for the phone or apps for the desktop. Yeah, as soon as I see something that says new app and does this, stop dead in your tracks, no matter what you're doing, and I have to look. And it's just,
is this going to be worth it? Well, we're not the guiltiest of it. I was talking with a friend who shall remain nameless, Bob Kelly, and Bob needed to call up an app on his phone. Now, I don't know about you, but as far as my app population on the phone is concerned, it ain't that big. I don't have too many, extraneous things. I don't have too many links and app widgets and all of that. So it's, for all intents and purposes, fairly basic phone that I've got. And Bob's looking for this app, and he opens up the phone, and it's one of these where he's going literally. Just flying through pages and pages of apps that he's got on the phone.
And these guys with 128 megabytes or gigabytes of stuff or whatever it is they have on their phones.
Mostly apps.
Or 256, and it just goes forever, yeah.
All right. Are you going to be up to anything today? Anything fun? Besides coming here? This was it. This was the fun part of the day, right?
Coming to see you is more fun than the law should allow.
Don't stop.
Okay?
You don't have to stop.
I love coming in here. It is the highlight of my day. This is the highlight of my sorry career.
It's getting deep around here.
I know it is. Right? Yep. The guy used to be a household name. Now he's a bit player in the Ray Gibson Show. How much fun is that?
Such is life.
It's nice to have old friends. It's 7:30 in the morning. Got headlines around the corner, brought to you by GPSI Guam, a professional services company, registered contractor for the federal government. Call GPSI at 477-3058. And also brought to you by Auntie Lolita Kamet of Remax Diamond Realty. For everything that you need to do, buy, sell, rent, Auntie Loli's number is 688-6743. From the Daily Post, here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. Department of Public Health Director Linda DeNorsi says she is aware of a reported case of tuberculosis exposure at the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, and she has launched an investigation. DeNorsi told the Guam Daily Post that her department will interview the physician that did the autopsy, Dr. Philip Dauderman, and they will do an environmental assessment of the whole premises to find out if there was a possible exposure or not. DeNorsi emphasized that it is not known yet if exposure occurred, and there's no public health concern at this time. The department will update the public as necessary. Tuberculosis affects people's lungs. It's caused by certain bacteria, spreads through the air from droplets released via coughs and sneezes. The coral reefs that surround Guam have experienced their worst ever bleaching in recorded history. According to a new study conducted by researchers at the University of Guam, multiple bleaching events driven by above-average sea temperatures have killed off more than one-third of all coral reefs around Guam and up to 60% of corals along Guam's eastern coast. It happened between 2013 and 2017. It's the largest known mass mortality of coral reefs to be recorded for Guam. During a news conference at UOG yesterday, lead author of the study, coral ecology professor Lori Raimundo, said, "Our reefs are undergoing very dramatic changes very suddenly that haven't been seen in the last 500 years. We need to protect what remains," she said, "and rehabilitate where we can, using whatever means we can, because the reefs are essential to the island," she said. David Panuelo was sworn in as the 9th president of the Federated States of Micronesia yesterday during the FSM elections in March. The 55-year-old Panuelo unseated fellow Pohnpeian and former FSM president Peter Christian as the at-large delegate for Pohnpei. In May, the FSM Congress then chose Panuelo as president from the 4 at-large representatives from each of the island states, Kosrae, Chuk, Yap, and Pohnpei. Kosrae's Yosiwo George was elected vice president. Guam's Governor Lou Leon Guerrero was among the regional leaders in attendance for the inauguration ceremony that took place in Pohnpei yesterday. She is due back on island today. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I got you at 7:33 in the morning, and that is iConnect time. Run to the nearest iConnector. Call them at 888-8888 and ask them all about the ways they're going to save you money on internet and mobile plans for the year.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65% for travel, back to school, a wedding. Do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC, conditions apply.
Introducing IHOP's new pancakes, all natural, 100% USDA choice black Angus beef. And you're going, wait a second, they don't make pancakes out of beef. They do over at IHOP. They call them burgers, and they've got these just an incredible menu, an incredible selection of burgers. For a limited time, get the classic burger, unlimited fries, $6.99. Available only at the Tamuning IHOP location.
Get a Coke 12-pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a dozen extra large eggs for only 49 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a case of Circle K water for only $2.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Your traffic gizmo playing tricks on me here. I'm looking at the intersection 810 and 16 and wondering why it looks like it's a little bit busy there. Traffic coming off of 10 onto 16. Whether you're going north or southbound, expect some delays here. I see the cause of northbound delay. It is because there seems to be a lot more activity over at the Happy Mart version of the intersection there, and that's slowing things down for people to get north. If you are headed south on Route 8, expect a couple of delays in the usual locations over by the that One Good entrance to Teeds, and then a little bit further south from that, expect more delays, as I got a feeling that DPW is getting really close to turning that intersection on up over there on the way into to Carbolito Elementary School. After that, you can expect delays southbound and northbound Marine Corps Drive over by Roots Grill, and then the only other place where it begins to slow down is at the intersection of 8 and 1. Traffic trying to get northbound onto Marine Corps Drive. Traffic at the Chief Kipoa Loop waiting to get across to Route 4 is slowing down, starting to see things busy up in Agana Heights as you make your way into Navy Hospital. Southbound Marine Corps Drive, expect some delays. I'm looking at it right now over at Polaris Point. Both directions seem to be snagged a little bit, and traffic moving slower, a little more north. How do I explain this? You got the intersection over at 1 and 2, and traffic is backing up a little bit earlier than normal. So expect some delays, definitely, if you're trying to get into Big Navy down Sumai Way. 7:36, and that's right now traffic here in the Point.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Hey, I got 7:37 in the morning. 888-8255, 888-8255 is the phone number here on the radio station. And a quick question, I think, for Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post. What is it I'm reading that the budget bill that had been introduced over at the legislature by the legislature was withdrawn?
That's right.
And then reintroduced.
And reintroduced to make technical corrections.
Technical corrections, like did they?
There's a news conference at 10 o'clock this morning to discuss.
Explain what those changes were. Is it possible they realized they stepped in a puddle when they took away all that money for the additional Guam Police Department guys?
A little oopsie-doo.
A little oopsie-doo. Is it possible they also did not have a long, loving look at the Department of Education budget and how the teachers and the students were getting screwed by the 2020 budget?
It's a learning process.
It's a learning process. That's what we'll call it. 7:38 in the morning. 888-8255. As I say, if you want to send me a WhatsApp, you're more than welcome to. 988-5874 is the way to do that. And this will be kind of a reunion. I haven't talked to this guy that I know of about 4 years. Dave Davis, Arnold Dave Davis. Good morning.
Howdy, Ray. Been a while.
It has been a while. Are you still taking care of yourself?
More or less.
More or less?
It's sometimes difficult, you know. But I just been waiting for some of my bucket list stuff to float to the top here.
Well, let me see. I got some paperwork out of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals here this morning that stands you and your case up, and it doesn't look like there's much room for the guys here at the Election Commission or the government of Guam to maneuver now.
I would think not.
Tell me the story. Not that it. I've said a couple of times on the air already. I was there. I remember when you called me when I was at K57 to tell me that you were going to be filing this case. But let's take it back a little bit and talk about the adventures since about 2011.
Well, it goes back a lot farther than your and my discussions on the subject.
Certainly.
I've been deeply involved in working toward this for over 30 years. And I just had my 83rd birthday 2 weeks ago. So,
happy belated birthday.
It's okay. So it's been one of the things at the top of my agenda for a long time, my lifelong agenda, I guess you'd have to put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, if you were tracking this issue, I went a long dry spell there when I could not find any local representation in Guam. Nobody in Guam, no attorney in Guam would touch this thing with a 10-foot pole.
I recall that.
And well, that was back in about 2009, I guess, when I was actively searching for a local representation, and it didn't work out. I contacted perhaps 8, 10, or dozen of the local firms, and some of them were quite candid about it. They said, they couldn't afford to lose a business, a local business. So I just kind of laid back in the weeds there. I didn't have anything else, any other way to go until finally I was contacted by a gentleman in Washington, D.C., and J. Christian Adams, who had recently left the voting rights section of the Department of Justice, U.S. Department of Justice. And I had filed a complaint with the U.S. Department of Justice back in 2009 on two subjects. One was the voting rights issue, and the other one was the Chamorro Land Trust, because I had been denied by the land trust as well. So he had seen somewhere come across my complaint, apparently, or he'd found out about it somehow. And he called me and said, I want to represent you. I'd like to represent you in your voting rights case. And that kicked off the thing there. And finally found some local seed money from interested people. And it went on from there. And eventually in 2011, we filed a case in September, I think, 2011.
Case goes to district court here?
Yeah, in the district court. And I can't tell you which dates, what happened on specific dates, but initially, the lawsuit, our lawsuit, was recommended by the magistrate judge to be rejected because allegedly I did not have standing for one reason or another, and so we filed a complaint.
Well, I think it was because the plebiscite election had not occurred yet, and it was prospective.
No harm had been done.
Yeah, no harm. Yeah, no, you had not yet endured any hardship.
Yeah, well, that's what they said, but that's not what the Ninth. That's not what the Ninth.
That's not what the Ninth Circuit Court said. Yeah.
Right. So the Ninth Circuit upheld my position, and then of course we went on from there, and we went to, because it went back to the district court to Judge Chadnico Gatewood, and so she was at that point forced into pretty much forced into a position of ruling one way or the other, and so she ruled in my favor, and then of course the government of Guam appealed that to the Ninth Circuit, and the Ninth Circuit came back, said that they affirmed her ruling of discrimination. And let's see, I'm trying to figure out, I remember what happened when, but in any case...
Well, because we've had now the second appeal.
Yeah.
So in my cursory read, I just got my hands on the paperwork now. In my cursory read, basically all the appeal the panel has done now is gone back and upheld the original decision on the case in your favor, with I think a little bit more by way of underlining an exclamation point pointing the Rice versus Cayetano and how it applies in this particular case.
Yeah,
as a violation of the 15th Amendment.
Yeah, that was not the only case referenced in the recent ruling, but it's probably may well be the most influential of the cases.
Yeah, well, and maybe the one that most people are familiar with here, the differences and the similarities between Native Chamorro rights, Native Hawaiian rights.
Yeah, and it also happened in the CNMI. That was one of the other Davis case, the one in the CNMI. No relation. Yeah. So there we are, and we now have something that may well cause Gov Guam to step back and rethink the whole thing. I would hope so. I would hope that this is an opportunity for a new beginning here.
Well, there is a permanent restriction against the government of Guam and the Guam Election Commission now from moving forward with any of the plebiscite and the plebiscite language from 2000. So if there is going to be another conversation about having a plebiscite, having a vote on self-determination or decolonization or whatever you want to call it, it cannot use the same language and it cannot use the same basis that the legislature thought was so convenient back in 97 and 2000.
I've said that, I've written that many times, and you can find references to that all over the place over the last 10 years or so, 10, 15 years. Of course, I wrote for the Marianas Variety for 9 years every week, and mostly that's one of the things I wrote about fairly often. So you can find the archival editions of those.
Back and forth on that. There is not much to the last page of the ruling here, and the last section that says we hold that Guam's limitation on the right to vote in its political status plebiscite to native inhabitants of Guam violates the 15th Amendment, and so affirm the district court summary judgment order. And so that sounds like it puts a period at the end of the sentence here. But what's next for you? Are you seeking damages? Any idea of how much this case has cost you and your whatever financial backers personally, and or what it might have cost the government of Guam?
Well, my original financial backers were not seeking any kind of remuneration. I have never sought any kind of damage claim, not to file any kind of damage claims, and don't intend to. And I have incurred certain expenses along the way, travel expenses and other things, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it. I don't know if it's worth it to the government of Guam because they're looking at right at $1 million worth of attorney fees right now, which is due and payable.
So you're going to get that back and share some of it with Chris Adams, huh?
I don't get to share in that. I'm sorry. I don't get any of that. That goes to Christian.
Gov Guam has to pay that $1 million. He's not getting any.
Right. Oh, I see. That's just the court costs that need to be covered by the plaintiffs or the defendants in this case. So what's next for you? What's next for you? Still running around taking care of stray dogs?
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to see what happens here when the dust settles a little bit and see who's coming at me from whichever directions. I fully expect that we're going to get some. I have no doubt that the radical fringe elements are going to try to subvert or circumvent the constitutional protections in some ways, and I believe they should.
They're too busy. They're too busy fighting the Marines on the construction of the firing range.
Oh yeah, well that's a different issue. So I can't even get involved in that. But
I was curious as to what your opinion might have been on that. It's I'm sure that you've maintained all your strings and connections to Guam.
Well, the opinion was pretty well voiced by the original agreements. Most all of the objections and obstructions come later on by newly formed anti elements. But in my case or in my issue, I'm prepared for whatever they might come up with in the way of trying to circumvent or in some way subvert this ruling. And you should recall here that the court decision so far didn't get beyond the 15th Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we filed several other injuries, one was had to do with the Organic Act of Guam, the Bill of Rights, which specifically prohibits any kind of discrimination for any reason.
Well, they had to use a whole bunch of Rice and Cayetano and those other cases that you were specific that you referred to in order to say that native inhabitants was proxy for race. They had to clearly establish that, and I think that was part of the affirmation that the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals came up with recently.
Yeah, but they still never got beyond the 15th Amendment.
So if there are going to be any more issues that get brought up, as it sounds like you've got more rounds in the chamber in the clip.
Lots of them. We've got the Organic Act of Guam, we've got the 14th Amendment, and we've got the U.S. Voting Rights Act. And if they have any sense of propriety or self-preservation, my recommendation is that they back off, just kind of accept it and move on. And my personal view here on this thing is that we should actively and aggressively pursue the political status issue and the decolonization issue. It's always been my position on these. And I think it does. Those who are more enlightened in our lawmaker cadre there should recognize that they have to take a different tack and go in a different direction if they're going to pursue these goals. It's absolutely necessary, and I'd like to see a resurrection of the Commonwealth issue, which I believe is the best option.
Yeah.
And of course, as you know, that died a quick death in Honolulu during the draft Guam Commonwealth hearings, because our illustrious politicians went in there with non-negotiable demands. And, of course, what happened was exactly what you'd expect to happen.
Yeah, but there are still proponents of Commonwealth here. I don't disagree, and I believe that ought to be resurrected as a choice. I always thought that was the best deal. 751, I don't know if you're familiar with, I'm pretty sure you have once or twice done some tap dancing with Bob Klitsky. He does a program here on the radio station in the afternoons. I'd like to bring him into the conversation as well. Senator Bob Klitsky, you're on with Dave Davis. Say hello to each other, guys.
Yeah, well, Dave has been part of our international radio listening audience even when Tall Tales was at a different broadcast outlet, Ray.
Well, the coconut never can get too far away from the tree, if you know what I mean.
There you go.
Yeah, well, Bob was involved at the outset of our lawsuit back here in 2011 and kind of dropped out there, but I think Bob was involved on the other side for a while. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know what Bob's feeling is about the current ruling out of the.
Neither do I. That's why we called him. I wanted to find out what. He's got the JD at the end of the name, wore the black robe, and has also been a member of the legislature. So I thought that I wanted to hear what the both of you had to say in about the last 8 minutes of the program of this in terms of the affirmation and then what you suppose, Bob, the next steps for the government of Guam might be. I think it'd be a fun conversation. Go.
Yeah,
I'll just sit back.
First of all, of course, I can't give a full analysis now. Our international radio listening audience will have to tune in again at 4, and it may be past Dave's bedtime. But if you're still up, Dave, we'd like to have you do a cameo appearance on Tall Tales this afternoon.
Well, it's not beyond my capability. I normally don't turn out my light till somewhere between midnight and 1 a.m.
Oh, perfect.
So that's well within the window.
Okay.
And those things that Ray mentioned about you and your history and your resume there, he failed to mention that you were an ex-Marine, and he should be chastised for that.
I knew I'd step in a puddle somewhere today.
Yesterday I posed a question on Tall Tales. The question was, how long does it take the average person to become a Marine? And then I gave the answer. The answer is an average person can never become a Marine.
Here. Semper Fi.
Back to Dave's case, I'm still waiting through the case, so I can't give a definitive answer on the case. Except it's pretty hard to figure out how it could have turned any other way, given the statutory machinations that the legislature went through, going from we're looking out from the Chamorros to pay no attention to that word Chamorro over there.
Well, that was pretty transparent back there in 2000 when they changed that thing over.
But I've given a little thought to what goes on next, and this is my quick analysis that the chest pounders will be pounding their chest saying, we've got to take this all the way to the United States Supreme Court, even though
that's a non-starter. That's a non-starter, as you know.
Even though cooler heads will tell them that they're not going to grant cert. You're going to be throwing good money after bad. But the nationalist element will say, well, we can't just let this go. This is wrong. It's colonialization. All of the buzzwords, etc.
Yeah.
So as a political standpoint, the chest pounders will want to do that. I think
they'll lose their incentive. They'll lose their incentive, perhaps, for all of these recurrent trips to the UN. You think?
Probably.
Huh?
And then the other point of analysis is this: what about some of the other things that we've committed ourselves to? In the light of Dave's victory here, do we really need a commission for Chamorro independence, which is what our decolonization commission really is? Because
I think that has been dealt a decisive and fatal blow here.
Because there's nothing to educate people for if there's no plebiscite. So that whole boondoggle ought to be taken apart because it has no purpose.
There's the other aspect to this, Bob and Ray. That sounds familiar. Mm-hmm. Never mind. The other aspect, one of the other aspects of this is that I'm going to be watching pretty carefully to see how they spend that $300,000 grant they got from the Department of the Interior for the education process. They could well lose that. That may be recoverable, though I think they've spent some of it already.
Actually, they haven't spent any of it, and it expires in September. And
okay. Well,
maybe
they just ought to let it expire because they're certainly not going to be able to proceed in the way that they had envisioned.
Then my other analysis is how does this case affect the pending Chamorro Land Trust case?
That's a good question, Bob. Good question. You still taking litigation on?
No. I'm devoting my time and efforts to talk radio, Dave. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have not. GovGuam has screwed over me in more than one aspect, and of course, this one is now, as far as I can tell, settled for all intents and purposes. The other one is not. That's the Chamorro Land Trust issue. And I filed a complaint with the U.S. Department of Justice in 2009 on the Chamorro Land Trust issue, and they elected not to pursue it, but later it kind of floated to the top, and that's what they're involved in right now from the federal standpoint, but not from the civilian end and the civil action standpoint.
Unfortunately,
other things could happen.
There's a line in the Davis decision, Dave, that would give some comfort to the government of Guam, and that in the line in the decision in your case says that the Chamorro Land Trust was set up to provide land for people who lost their land in post-World War II land takings.
Yeah, but that didn't work. Yeah, didn't work out that well.
This was advanced in the district court case, and the district court judge bought it, although my analysis is that it's absolutely untrue. That when the Chamorro Land Trust Act was enacted in 1975, the statute itself never mentioned post-World War II land takings.
Oh, that is interesting.
No one.
Guys, listen, I'm gonna leave the conversation be, and everybody get some sleep, and you guys get caught up again about 4 o'clock or so in the afternoon when we do Tall Tales. Michael Knight will be the producer of that program. He's already got Dave Davis's number, so maybe we can start with a little bit of unwrapping of the affirmation, and then follow on with another interview between the two of you. Dave, it's great hearing from you. Congratulations on the case. We'll see where it goes next and where the shoes are going to be dropping. Who's scratching their head the most over at the governor's office and at the legislature and the attorney general's office to figure out what next. See you guys later. All right, we're KUSG Hagutnia. This is 93.3 The Point. Ray Gibson here, Fox News Live next. Kevin Kerrigan after that.
Searching for a motive. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Police in Gilroy, California, combing through social media as they try to piece together why a gunman opened fire at a food festival yesterday, and another victim has been identified. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more live.
Lisa, Police Chief Scott Smithy confirmed the identity of the 19-year-old shooter. He said his rifle was purchased legally in Nevada and that officers stationed at the festival engaged the suspect within a minute of him opening fire.
There absolutely would have been more bloodshed, I believe. I think it's very, very fortunate that they were able to engage him as quickly as they did.
3 people were killed, including a 6-year-old boy and 13-year-old girl. On the suspect's Instagram profile, he had encouraged people to read a book called Might is Right, which advocates social Darwinism, racism, sexism, and anarchy. Lisa.
Jessica, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell pushing back against critics who called him a Russian asset after he blocked a move to pass election security legislation.
My differences with Democrats on complicated matters of election law are the kind of disagreements we used to be able to have without mainstream media outlets screaming that one side is traitorous.
Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer.
If Leader McConnell doesn't like being criticized on election security, I challenge him. Let's debate it on the floor with amendments. I challenge him. Support additional appropriations for states to harden their election systems.
Schumer is calling for money to be added to spending bills for states to harden election infrastructure. U.S. Central Command says 2 American service members were gunned down by an Afghan soldier in southern Afghanistan. The identities of the service members have not yet been released. 12 American troops have been killed in Afghanistan so far this year. Wall Street at the close. The Dow added 28. The NASDAQ fell 36. The S&P lost 4 points. This is Fox News.
Get a half-gallon of Minute Maid orange juice for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a half-gallon of Dairy Gold milk for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a $7 meal for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Calaguan Hafa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mescla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mescla, a true taste of Guam.
A new Fox News poll takes a look at what Americans think of threats posed by Iran and North Korea. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, when it comes to Iran and North Korea, 60% of respondents say each of them poses a serious danger. 53% are in favor of military action to neutralize Iran's nuclear program. That sentiment slightly higher, 57% in North Korea. Opinions are also in line on President Trump's handling of both rogue nations. 39% approve of how he deals with both countries. 49% don't like our interactions with North Korea. 46% aren't satisfied with how we handle Iran. As for how the world looks at the U.S. now, 54% say we're less respected than 4 years ago, Lisa.
Granada, an Italian judge says one of the two American teens jailed in Rome for the killing of a police officer claims he was afraid he was being strangled. Finnegan Lee Elder is accused of stabbing the plainclothes officer 11 times. A retired baseball star thanks fans for their concern, releasing a statement on social media after he was shot in his native country.
David Ortiz took to Instagram for the first time since being shot at a nightclub in the Dominican Republic on June 9th in what has been called a case of mistaken identity by authorities. The former Red Sox slugger posted pictures of steak, pasta, and seafood with the caption, "Being at home and looking at my family celebrating that I'm here safe is priceless. Thanks for all the prayers. Too bad I can't crush food yet." Ortiz followed up the post with an official statement thanking his doctors and asking for privacy as he continues to rehab. Ortiz had a total of 3 surgeries after the shooting and will continue that rehab at home. Tim McMaster, Fox News.
All those hours playing video games paid off for one Pennsylvania teenager. 16-year-old Kyle Geiersdorf won $3 million as the Fortnite World Cup solo champion. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65% for travel, back to school, a wedding. Do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC, conditions apply.
The summer of Jeep, Compass, Cherokee, Wrangler, Cars Plus in Mighty. Your new adventure starts now. Buy the 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the year and get a new Jeep Wrangler Sport for $268 per paycheck. Or get a new Jeep Compass Sport, only $167 per paycheck. Let them hear you coming in the new 2019 Jeep Cherokee. Buy for $205 per paycheck. And get financing as low as 1.99% on all Jeep models. Come see why you'll be kicking it at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at the point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has upheld Guam District Court Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood's decision striking down the Guam plebiscite law as unconstitutional because it is race-based and in violation of the 15th Amendment. The appeals court denied the government of Guam's appeal and affirmed Judge Tydenko Gatewood's injunction against the proposed non-binding plebiscite that is meant to gauge the political status preferences of Guam's native inhabitants by asking whether they prefer statehood, independence, or free association. Retired Air Force officer Arnold Dave Davis filed the lawsuit after he tried to register for the decolonization registry so he could vote in the plebiscite. His attempt to register was denied because Davis is not a native inhabitant of Guam. In a release announcing the decision this morning, Davis's legal counsel, Christian Adams, said the Ninth Circuit has again ruled against Guam, and Guam cannot conduct the plebiscite, period. It's time to resolve these issues with broad consensus that respects the 15th Amendment instead, he said. Family and friends are mourning the death of Keith Castro, who was shot and killed in Jigo on Sunday night. The motive for his murder remains unclear. Police have not released any details yet, but the day before Castro died, he posted on Facebook Live and talked about certain defendants awaiting trial in jail who he said have been spreading rumors describing him as a snitch. In his Facebook post before he was killed, Castro said, "I ain't a snitch, and I do not plan on going to jail." Castro was shot around 8:45 on Sunday night at a home in a residential neighborhood in Chalantun Fred Cabeza, just off Route 15 in Jigo. He was pronounced dead at Guam Regional Medical City at 9:50 Sunday night. We'll have more news after this.
IHOP now has buttermilk crispy chicken made with all natural chicken breast and a signature blend of seasonings. Why am I running? Because IHOP now has buttermilk crispy chicken made with all natural chicken breast and a signature blend of seasonings. Whoa! We're talking chicken sandwiches, chicken and waffles, even chicken and pancakes. But move it, Gray Van! IHOP has crispy chicken!
Run in to try IHOP's new buttermilk crispy chicken strips and pancakes for just $6.99. For a limited time, price and participating restaurants may vary.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about the food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. The Federal Election Commission has sent 2 letters to Guam delegate Michael San Nicolas citing discrepancies in his campaign finance report for the 2018 election and an apparently erroneous filing for the 2020 election. In a statement to the Guam Daily Post, San Nicolas said these issues have already been addressed with the Federal Election Commission. He said such letters are not uncommon for new offices getting accustomed to the filing process. The first letter, dated May 28th, cites 4 discrepancies in San Nicolas's year-end campaign finance report, including a report totals that appear to be incorrect. The report omits the loans and debts on previous reports, and the report fails to disclose complete information for each creditor. The second letter, dated June 24th, states that San Nicolas filed reports of receipts and disbursements that appear to be for the 2020 election. San Nicolas said the 2 letters from the FEC are standard issue for any items that require clarification. The coral reefs that surround Guam have experienced their worst ever bleaching in recorded history. According to a new study conducted by researchers at UOG, multiple bleaching events driven by above-average sea temperatures have killed off more than 1/3 of all coral reefs around the island and up to 60% of the corals along Guam's eastern coastline. It's the largest known mass mortality of coral reefs to be recorded on Guam, according to the study. And during a news conference at UOG yesterday, lead author of the study, coral ecology professor Lori Raimundo, said, "Our reefs are undergoing very dramatic changes very suddenly that haven't been seen in the last 500 years. She said we need to protect what remains and rehabilitate where we can using whatever means we can. Finally, Contra y Peligro, a full-scale multi-agency exercise is happening today and tomorrow. Residents are advised that there will be simulated emergency scenarios as part of the exercise at multiple locations, including but not limited to the District Court in Anigua and the Superior Court in Nagana, the Tangisan Power Plant, the Dededo Sports Complex, and other locations around the island where increased emergency response activity will be seen. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with some weather.
Boy, it sure sounded like there was going to be a lot of activity over by District Court when Sean Gumatauta was on the phone, huh? It sounded like
Superior Court.
Yeah, Superior Court.
Yeah.
Sounded like there might be some, that might be the scene of whatever story it is that they're playing out on their tabletops there.
Be fun to watch it.
Yeah, it would be fun
but
to
don't
participate.
get worried. It's just a test.
I want to participate in. I want to be a victim. I want to be the hero. I want to be the guy that shows up with the gun and shoots the bad guys. Can I? 8:12 in the morning. The guy called for some weather. Here's what we have for you in today's forecast. Partly sunny, isolated showers and thunderstorms. There's south winds up to about 10 miles an hour. Highs 88 degrees and overnight lows around 79 degrees like it always is. Sunset tonight 6:49. And did I say sunrise tonight? That'll happen every once in a while when I'm going too fast for my brain.
Well, it'll be sunrise somewhere.
It's sunset tonight at 6:49. Sunrise this morning was at 6:05. Should be about the same time. Today we'll take a look at the last look at radar this morning, give you an idea of what it's going to be like for second string drivers.
You know, it's kind of a funny thing before we go into that, what we just talked about. People don't think about it in a large scale, but when the sun sets here, it's rising somewhere else.
Exactly.
You know, unless you think the earth is flat.
Just boom. Did your brain just explode and go boom? Really? Yeah, it's like that. Gray line. The gray line is happening somewhere all the time.
That's right. It's just about beer time, too. Hey, got some winds flowing slowly from the south, southeast, look more southerly at this point. And what this is going to do is bring in some moisture. We can see these isolated showers and some embedded thunderstorms down to our south. They'll come creeping this way throughout the late morning, and by the time they get here early this afternoon, they'll meet a very well heated up island mass, and that's going to cause more lifting. Yeah, and those clouds get lifted up, and when that happens, it just squeezes out all the rain and creates a lot of instability, get lightning, thunder, and all that sort of thing. Dogs and cats living together. That
Mercury in retrograde.
Yeah, absolutely. So we aren't seeing very much right now. Maybe just a few showers up on the north side, a few in the south, just a smattering of showers. Nothing real heavy right now, but watch out this afternoon. Up to the north, 93 WinVest going to kind of move up then and get out of there. It's really kind of a hybrid system. I really wasn't expecting much from this, and it may not. Nothing really going to happen with it.
I don't think so. I think what's going to be interesting is what happens with the blobage down south. And it seems to be drifting up to a little bit more to where we are.
Yeah, and you're exactly right about that, because this particular system is actually helping to change the wind pattern, bringing in southerly winds, and of course that's to the south. So I'll keep an eye on that, but it looks like that's actually starting to kind of slide a little bit west and may not make it. But we got to kind of see what's going on. We've got high pressure in there too. That's why you see a bigger area of things kind of rotating clockwise. So maybe some of that blobage down to the southeast could make its way up here in the next day or so. Weather Service says just isolated showers or so for the next day or so, and a chance of those island effect afternoon thunderstorms in the heat of the day.
It's 8:15. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
It's the Ray Gibson Show on The Point, brought to you by all kinds of folks, including the guys over at MRE. Jeff and Joe always say now is a good time to go solar. Even better now because they have batteries for your house. Security Title, you buying, selling? Is it complicated? Are you scratching your head? Like the governor, legislature, and the attorney general is going to be doing all day long on this Davis case. What do we do now? What comes next? Call the guys over at Security Title. They might know a thing or two about getting you out of some of those briar patches when it comes to buying and selling and trading on Guam. The guys over at American President Lines, where they have a global presence but a local home. And finally, this break, I'll tell you about what's happening at Ruby Tuesday, because today is Tuesday. And you would think, because they named the place Ruby Tuesdays, they'd have something special going on, and you would be right. 2 endless garden bars, a couple of tasty entrees, and a dessert to share for one terrific price. RT2 for 1 Tuesdays. 2 complete meals for a terrific value, just $25.99. It's not going to last forever, so get to Ruby Tuesdays tonight.
Weekday shopping just got exciting. Join the Agania Shopping Center's Shop and Win on Weekdays promo. Shop or dine at any ASC store or restaurant on weekdays from now till October 31st. Show your receipt at the ASC booth and win instantly. Every $20 spent gets you an entry form to win big at the monthly draws, including round-trip tickets to Manila, $500 ASC gift certificates, and more. See posters and print ads for more. Special thanks to Sky Zone, Fun and Mall Riders, Vince Jewelers, and Wendy's.
Portions of the program also being brought to you by Cars Plus, where we continue to celebrate the summer of Jeep. But it's not a long celebration. In fact, it ends tomorrow. Then that's going to be it. I don't know what they're going to be doing with Jeep after that. So if you want to get a great price on a new Wrangler or a Compass or a Cherokee or all the way up to the Grand Cherokee, find out why it's grand. Go on a test drive today at Cars Plus. Ray Gibson Show also being brought to you by my friends over at Take Care Insurance and Wendy's, where they've got the Berry Burst Chicken Salad. It's very, very good. You're going to like it. It's got strawberries. I've made it all the way through the month without doing that, right? Without saying it's very good. It's very delicious. It's the Berry Burst Chicken Salad. It's got the chicken. It's got the salad parts, and then they dress it up with strawberries and blueberries and feta cheese and slices of almond. And then what you do is you pour the raspberry vinaigrette over everything, reseal the box, and then you shake it back and forth. So like a Christmas present. You just try to get that raspberry vinaigrette on everything, and then enjoy. Swing by Wendy's today.
Real Talk Radio is back. Welcome to The Point, Guam's FM News Talk Superstation.
online, Nate's asking, so can we save GovGuam some money now by closing the Commission on Decolonization, asking for a friend? There's not going to be a plebiscite, and in fact, in the previous ruling from the Ninth Circuit Court, they said there cannot be a plebiscite, and anything that has these racial tonalities on them are against the 15th Amendment, and therefore unconstitutional. So what's next? Carl T.C. Gutierrez online this morning. I can see you online. Be interesting to see what you have got to say about that. Valine Iriarty is hanging out online too as well. Guy walks into a bar, right? Punchline is just ouch.
That's a good one.
I like
it's one of my
that.
favorite jokes ever.
Yeah, a horse walks into a bartender. This is why the long face. Three-legged dog walks in the same bar, says, "Who shot my paw?" Stupid. Let me see. I got my pal Lou Barrett's there. Ken LG is playing around. Joe Dizon, Ron, and Cindy De La Rosa hanging out with us this morning, as well as Xavier Aptelig and cousin Tommy Barcinas and so many more. Director Cho is there. Joe Cepeda, Frankie Gutierrez. If you want to, then I love it when you come to the Facebook Live that I can see, like Molly Ann did, just chime in, just showing up on the feed this morning. So hello, Molly Ann. Great to have you there, and thanks for swinging by today. If you don't want me to say hi, Molly Ann, then go to YouTube Live. Now I can still see you. It's just that I don't monitor that, so don't necessarily see who's playing around on the YouTube Live. Cannot see you at all on the Guam Daily Post website or the website for us, the point.gu.
Right.
So if you want to watch anonymously because you work in another newsroom or another radio station, stream it. That's the way to do that. 20 after. Hey, look, Blake's here. Sports with Blake. Time for Sports with Blake. Dude.
Yeah.
No, how did she do that? There must be a setting on the phone that I'm not aware of. Molly Ann, I was saying hello to her, and she wrote back half a day. But it's not just HAFA. It's the A with the little O around it, the crown of O.
I can hook you up with that.
You know how to do that? Is it like a phone thing or a desktop?
That one actually, the
control
glota,
characters?
Is it a glota? Is that what it's called?
Kevin?
Was that what the
little
circle?
A on top of the little circle on top of the A?
Yeah,
and
it's
off
there.
of it?
Okay, so this is how you do it. I'll show you right now. It's really easy. You go to the A.
Yeah.
Or any letter that you can do it with, because it's not all, and then you hold it down.
Oh, and it gives you the choice.
And it gives you all of them. See, you got all those. See,
Even the acrylic one with the A and the E that are laying next to each other.
Yeah. So same thing. So I know that because when I'm typing to my grandmother, who was a Spanish speaker, I use the accent on the E, the eh. So if you hold down the E, because it's it also gives you the upside. See all the E's.
Oh, I had no idea.
So if you hold down, like before you send it, just hold down the letter, and it'll give you all the options if the letter has options.
Yeah, it gives you the end and all those things.
Yeah. Well, that's how you do it.
All right.
So there you go.
That's it. Thanks very much. That's all the time we got for Blake Watson this morning. Sports. You know what? We got to. Let's start with Mike here today because we were supposed to do this yesterday and spend a little bit of time talking about the Pick'ems program, how to enter and how to join and all of that stuff. And I've been busy with others, so I haven't made any updates on websites and stuff and Facebook pages. But we are going to be undergoing a full blown kind of. Pick'ems, and it's the easy one, right? Where you just look at the schedule of games and pick which teams you think are going to win that weekend.
That's right. And the one who gets the most at the end of the season will be the winner. Here's the deal. It's in the same platform as last year. Okay, so it's going to be on Yahoo. If you don't have a Yahoo account, it's actually very easy to open one up, and Yahoo has now become one of the minimal players, but they do fantasy football, which is why I stick with them.
Yeah.
So go to Yahoo, and then you look up fantasy sports, and then go to Fantasy Football Pick'em. There, you'll get a screen that will ask you to join a group. You'll join a group, and the ID of our group is 3384. 3384. You'll know you're in the right one if it says The Point Pick'em 2019.
33-year-old woman, 84-year-old man.
That's the Philippines.
And the password?
The password, of course, is Ray Gibson.
There you go. Something easy. So you get in. That's all you got to do is just try to figure out who is going to be the winner on most weekends.
I'm in right now.
So the answer,
I could have worked on that.
Yeah, the answer is going to be the Dallas Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be the Carolina Panthers, but not all the way through. Seattle Seahawks.
the Niners for the first
Bills.
week.
Yeah. so
Joe Garoppolo gets injured again.
It's going to be all these guys that just, they're going to start, and it's going to be hell bent for leather for the first couple of weeks, and you'll be all excited, and you'll be thinking,
My team's good.
I'm going to go to Ross and I'm going to buy their jersey because my team is on fire this year.
And now, just in case anybody's hung up in the middle of the process, because I went kind of fast, again, go to Yahoo, go to Fantasy Sports, look up Pick'ems, Pro Football Pick'ems. Our group is 3384. Click on Join a Group. Put that number in there. It'll bring you to The Point. Point is actually capitals. The Point, Pick'em 2019, and Ray Gibson.
All right, well, and we'll put that somewhere so it just as easy as clicking a button on the screen. And
But what are we
going
giving away?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I
got time.
Well, I'm waiting on the guys over at. I was calling out Steve Reuter from Rims to see if he might be able to hook me up with I don't know, something cool because he's got
Take me to
cool
lunch,
clients.
Steve. He could take me to lunch.
He's got PIC as one of his clients. The entire the United hangs out with them, and who else is messing around under Steve's tutelage over at his advert? PIC and the race, the marathon race.
Oh yeah.
So big clients is.
Big clients.
I'm just saying.
Take me to lunch, Steve. Take me to lunch. He has good lunches.
They got good lunches.
He has a lot of he has a lot of good fun.
A couple of
at lunch.
5Ks that I got to tell you about. August the 10th, and it's not like the first one. In fact, I don't even know who's racing this weekend. But on August the 10th, not one but two Sunset races. We've got one that is going to be taking place at Chamorro Village. This is the 2K, 5K Run the Race from the First Church of God, and they got the hookups. Grand raffle prize, a trip to Osaka, Japan, and I just got word this morning from Baby Sister Mana that there is going to be a race on Tiedzen, the Tiedzen Complex race that is going to be taking place at the same time. It's another Sunset race in the Tiedzen area. Showtime 5, go time 6, something like that, and then everybody's going to have a good time. And if you are a resident of Barragata, you have to go because Junie said. Actually, showtime is 4, go time is 5 in the afternoon. Junie said you have to show up to the race if you live in Barragata.
You have to.
Yes, otherwise
or you got to move out of Barragata.
Yeah, otherwise if you try to go there for one of those mayor verifications, no.
We better not see you at Happy Mart if you're not running in the race.
Dude, you didn't run in my race, and now you want mayor's verification that you're an upstanding resident of Barragata? Get out of here with that.
Oh, you need a new license? Oh, I bet you do.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
So I think that's what's going to be. That might be one of the things. So we got any good local sports coming up?
We do have well, I don't know about coming up, but we do have something that happened. We kind of grazed over it, but I wanted to get into it a little bit more because after the Pacific Games, I know it seems like so long ago that they ended. It was only a week. Ben Schulte and some of his teammates, Maneri Govez and Jagger Stevens, they took a detour. They went and let's see here. They participated in the FINA Championships that was taking place from July 12th through the 28th. It is over in Korea. And Ben Schulte entered Korea with a silver medal performance, and he broke the Guam national record. In the 50-meter breaststroke, he came in Korea 28.72 seconds. So I just wanted to kind of put a little feather in Ben's cap there. After he won the silver for Guam, then he went over to Korea after competing in one
That's the sound of the feather.
competing on one world stage and right over to another. So it can't be easy to compete back-to-back like that. And you know
what they say.
Michael, he calls you Michael. Rico Blankenfloor wants to know, is the password one word? Is it all just
It is one word,
R-A-Y-G-I-B-S-O-N?
yeah, it's one word, lowercase.
Okay,
Ray
one word,
Gibson.
lowercase, Ray Gibson.
I do got a story for you, though.
I love it.
I think you'll like it. I thought of you and I laughed as I was reading the story. 23-year-old pro surfer, of course, down in Florida. Frank O'Rourke, Jacksonville Beach, Saturday, shark attack. Decided to take a bite from his left arm around 3:30.
I'm waiting for the thought of me and laughed thing. The guy lost an arm to a shark while he was surfing?
The shark just came out of nowhere.
Good story.
The shark just came out of nowhere. It just came out of the water and grabbed me like it wanted me. But after getting back to the beach...
People are friends, not food.
After getting back to the beach, Frank O'Rourke had to rush to get some sort of medical attention, right? No, he immediately went to the bar.
There you go.
There you go. He immediately went to the bar because he was like, I got bit by a shark, and people were like, I'll buy you drinks. So he went and hung out at the pier.
I mean, if he's not bleeding to death, it's okay.
Just took a chunk out of his arm. See here. So I guess he just went to the bar because people had seen it. It was there on Jacksonville Beach, and they were like, hey, dude, cool story, bro.
Right?
Come get your free drink. So instead of, he diverted the ambulance away, and he went straight from the water to the bar and hung out for a little bit before, with the big chunk missing out of his arm. So
that's perfect. And this happened where again?
Florida, Jacksonville.
There's only one
Beach,
other place
Florida.
in the world where that could have happened. Australia.
That's it.
That in my mind, that's the kind of guy. That's the kind of surfer. He's going to go home, stitch it up himself, wrap it up in a Band-Aid, put some bacitracin on it, and mercurochrome.
Where's the super glue?
I feel like in Australia, the Australian guy would have tamed the shark, brought him to the beach, and they would have had drinks together, kind of thing. But
I like that. Okay.
But there you go. So
That is a good
there's
story.
a pro, and he's a pro surfer too. So maybe that's why he wasn't so
Freaked
scared.
out?
Yeah. Frank O'Rourke, 23-year-old pro surfer.
And let's face it, he still had his right arm.
Oh yeah, that's true. He still had his drinking arm, right? So he could.
I think that is perfect. That's a great story here. Are we at the end of any leagues or seasons?
We are at the end of summer, and coming up, the Mattel. Now, this is, I guess, we talked a little bit about how they drew, but the next game, September 5th, round 2, FIFA World Cup qualifier for Qatar 2020, and the Asian AFC Cup. So September 5th against the Maldives. And then I believe that is here. The Guam squad will host the Maldives, and on September 10th, we go take on the Azcals, which any Filipino knows that is the national Filipino football team.
Are we playing anybody in Mumbai?
That's about a month away.
There's a guy, Sam Khan, is on. I think his ID says he's in Dubai, but he's also typed in Mumbai. So I'm not sure. He might hail in both places. But we've played against the Indians before.
We played against India. We beat India.
I remember that.
Yeah, we beat India, and then I believe we played against Oman as well, which I know is near Dubai. I mean, I don't know how.
It's all sandy
close.
to me. I don't know. It all sounds like those sandy places
on the same
with really
peninsula,
rich people.
I feel like Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Brunei, Oman, I feel like they're all just kind of like across the street from each other. I know
the
they're
first
not,
three that
but
you
it's
said really are. They're kind of bunched up together, and Oman's actually over on the other coast, but it's fine.
And Qatar. Qatar's all
Qatar,
down there.
yeah.
But yeah, so home schedule, September 5th, a little over a month away from World Cup qualifying soccer here locally. So Mattel, Maldives, September 5th, 3:30 p.m. out in Harmon.
All right, and so a lot of people are going to be headed off to that. There might be a couple of ways to watch that on Facebook Live. Real smart people would just go there and point their phone at
Do it yourself.
at the players, and just do it yourself and do your own annotation.
It's a lot of fun,
and things
too.
like
If
that.
you've never been, try to go. I mean,
no beer.
Was there not? There was last.
Was there?
There was last. The last.
Were they selling
time.
it, or were people just sneaking it in?
No, they were selling it. They were because I believe I believe they had a little midway, and so they had it sponsored. So there's actually a beer tent. So
I don't know how you're going to take this though. Daryl Taggarty online saying, "How's this, guys? For a dedicated fantasy football maven, I've been a Redskins fan since 1971."
Oh, they've had some good years since then.
Well,
Nothing
one or
wrong
two.
with that. Yeah.
They had one.
No, they had a pretty good run in the 90s, man.
What was it? 72, 73 was all about the Dolphins, though, right?
That's right. It
One
was,
Super
yeah.
Bowl. The Redskins. Right?
I couldn't be numbers. So that was a long time ago.
Yeah, then you are a dedicated guy. See, that's why I wasn't sure where the conversation was going to go. I don't know whether that's, hey, good on you, or my condolences.
Both. Yeah. I mean, well, both. I mean, to me, it's always admirable because I'm a true sports fan, and I've actually been kind of lucky in some of my sports, not all. Looking at you, Texas Rangers, but I really like people who stick with their teams, good or bad. And the Redskins have been. All jokes aside, the Redskins have been more bad than good. So
no, it's true. No, you're right about
Good
that.
on
I mean,
Daryl.
they had some great years in the 70s, and then again in the late 80s, going into the 90s, but it hasn't been much for them. And no, I agree with you, man. I mean, like me, I've been an Astros fan my whole life. I mean, I went to the very first game ever played in the Astrodome, and they've always been my team. And finally, that paid off a couple of years ago when they won it. So you got to stick with the guys, man.
And to think that there are 4-month-old kids and they're being born in Boston right now that have not seen a championship in 4 months. That's crazy. So it's really tough.
8:32 in the morning. Look, that's all the time we got to pretend to talk about sports. I'm going to send Blake Watson over to finish the morning show over on Star 101 and then do all of that stuff. I got the last look at news with Kevin Kerrigan on the other side of these messages.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant.
Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
It's 8:33 in the morning. Access to medical care In where? Well, we'll talk about that on the other side of headlines. And a very close, very personal friend of mine, if everything works out right, is going to come in here and talk to me about hydroponics and how to grow stuff using the hydroponic method. What kind of stuff would we grow with the hydroponic method?
Oh, tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Herbs. Celery.
Spices, yeah.
Lettuce. Carrots. How about recreational marijuana? Stay close. It's happening here in the program. 8:33 right now. Time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here is Kevin Kerrigan. What happened to the thing? There it is. I found the thing.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. The chairman of the Guam Legislature's Finance Committee withdrew the fiscal year 2020 budget proposal he submitted Friday and reintroduced it yesterday after making some technical corrections to it. Senator Joe San Augustine's original budget bill and its replacement were developed under the guidance of the legislature's Office of Finance and Budget, whose director is Stephen Guerrero. The original version proposed an overall $2 million reduction in spending at 4 public safety agencies: the Department of Corrections, the Guam Fire Department, the Department of Youth Affairs, and the Guam Police Department. The original budget bill also would have cut the Department of Education budget down to $199 million, excluding charter schools. That would have been $144 million less than what Guam DOE had asked for. In a release explaining the withdrawal and resubmission of the bill, San Augustine said, "No budget is perfect, and this is just a starting point for discussion." He said the revised budget bill will put our tax dollars directly into schools and keep cops on the job. Andrea Cruz, a former public high school teacher accused of drug possession and issuing fake high school diplomas, has agreed to plead guilty to aggregated theft by deception and official misconduct. The drug charges against her have been dropped. Cruz was a teacher at George Washington High School. She was allegedly running a credit recovery academy and an unlicensed homeschool program. The case involved 300 students who reportedly were issued bogus diplomas and transcripts. Under the terms of her plea agreement, Cruz has also agreed to cooperate with the AG's office in the prosecution of other individuals, one of whom, Maria Untalan, is her former partner and a defendant in a drug case. Cruz now faces up to 3 years in prison with credit for time served. She'll be sentenced at a later date. Her next hearing is scheduled for August 1st. Guam Fire Department responded to a report of a distressed swimmer at the Agana Marina last evening, where they found a woman lying face down in the channel. According to a statement from Guam Fire spokesman Kevin Riley, the woman had no pulse and was not breathing. Medics rushed her to Guam Naval Hospital, performing CPR en route. Her condition has not yet been released. Contra y Peligro, a full-scale multi-agency exercise, is happening today and tomorrow. Residents are advised there will be simulated emergency scenarios as part of the exercise at multiple locations around the island, including the District Court in Anigua and the Superior Court in Agana, the Tangisan Power Plant, the Dededo Sports Complex, and other locations where increased emergency response activity will be seen. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Oh, that's, you know what, we just got a note here from Lou Barrett online. It says, Ray Gibson is so on point. Hope to watch him regularly when I return. Awesome talk show host. Thanks very much. I appreciate that, Lou. You know, the name of the show is The Ray Gibson Show, but I don't work alone. I've got Kevin Kerrigan there just finishing up news and Michael Knight in there. And, of course, we got Blake helping me with the sports stuff. So I'm going to share the credit with everybody if you don't mind. 8:37 in the morning. What have I got for you? Just a note here. It's iConnect time. Swing by an iConnect and learn what you need to learn about getting some cheaper rates on your mobile and internet plans.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65% for travel, back to school, a wedding. Do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender. Member FDIC. Conditions apply.
Slow roasted, smoke laced pork, shredded and sauteed with onions and cabbage, served with steamed rice and lomi salmon. You need to try this Kahlua pork and cabbage today over at Mescla. There are a couple of locations. There's one in Agana, and everybody knows the main branch of Mescla, and in Tumon, the new location at the Grand Plaza Hotel. Should make reservations. I recommend those. Please call 969-2652.
Viva Guam! As Guam celebrates 75 years of liberation, Nambo Insurance honors the brave heroes who dedicated their lives to fight for our freedom. With great pride, we salute those who made our liberation possible. At Nambo Insurance, they share the same dedication to serve our community. From offering reliable home, auto, motorcycle, and business insurance to providing friendly holiday service, Nambo Insurance is dedicated to serving Guam. From your Nambo family, happy liberation, Guam.
Let me take a look at the traffic here, see what you're up against this Tuesday morning. A little bit busier than most other weekdays, and I think a lot of that has to do with folks trying to get around to places where they can do some shopping for back to school or just get out of the house a little bit earlier while the kids are asleep. I got traffic Marine Corps Drive southbound. Most of Dededo is moving fairly slow in both directions. Route 16, same thing over at Harmon Loop intersection. You'll find some backup around there as you get closer and closer to the airport and the intersections. The two intersections at the airport, those may be slowing you down as well. Certainly the one over by the rent-a-car is moving slower than normal today. Route 8's not so bad. Route 10 in 4, not so bad either as you're getting into the downtown Agutnya area. Don't see a whole lot that's going to slow you down there as much as we're watching a little bit of traffic build over by Navy Hospital all the way down to Big Navy in Sumai. It's been slow there all morning, and it's still slow at 20 minutes to 9. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
9 o'clock in the morning. It's the Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. Just got a note from Shelley Chrysostomon. She says, yeah, on my way. She will be here at 9 o'clock and talk about hydroponics and talk about different ways to use that medium to be able to create, I don't know, delicious, nutritious vegetables, herbs, spices. Did I already say herbs? Which herb was I talking about specifically? Gee, I don't know.
Cilantro.
It's kind of a recreational town these days. More on that a little bit later on. 19 away, though. And I got an invitation for an interview the other day from my friend Alan. He says there are these medical professionals in town representing a hospital, and maybe you want to talk to them. I said, yeah, I'd like to know about that. And when I first looked at it, it looked like it was you guys were building a local hospital, and I'm like, I didn't see the construction go up for that. Is it Yuan's Hospital?
Yes, Yuan's General Hospital. We are an offshore referral service. And so for the subspecialties that aren't available on Guam, we are here to fill that gap.
You're listening to the voice of Buffy Hespelt? Hespelt. I'm just going to stick with Buffy, if that's all right.
Please.
All right, and Buffy is, as she says, referral coordinator, insurance relations, and Guam Patient Services. Also in the studio with me is cancer specialist, Dr.
Yes, Dr. Leong.
Dr. Leong.
Stephen Leong.
Very nice to meet you, Dr. Stephen Leong.
Yes,
and where exactly is this hospital?
This hospital is located in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. So Taipei is northern, and Kaohsiung is southern. So
that's the easy way to remember it,
that's
isn't
the
it?
easy way to remember it.
Is there an airport nearby to Kaohsiung?
Actually, there is an international airport in Kaohsiung.
Oh, really? Okay.
However, direct flights from Guam do not go there.
So we'd have to go to Taipei and then catch a ride down.
Yes, we have a patient experience liaison who then picks you up from the airport directly from the airport and accompanies you all the way down. There's a high-speed rail that takes you from the airport directly down to our hospital.
Well, we'll start with cancer. I think cancer is one of those diseases that unfortunately we have quite a lot of here on Guam for a variety of reasons and different and spectacular kinds of cancers that we get around here as well. And it manages to touch everybody's life. I was just, when the doctor sat down and said, "Oh, cancer doctor," I said, "Well, that's interesting. I lost my dad to cancer last year. Lost my mother-in-law to cancer a couple of years prior to that." And so, it's a different experience for everybody and different cancers out there that you treat. Do you have a specialty cancer that you are more familiar with, that you treat more often?
Yes, I see all different kinds of cancer because I am a radiation oncologist. Treat the cancer by radiation.
Okay.
So any part of cancer, like head and neck, breast cancer, prostate cancer, all come to my clinics, and we have the most advanced facility to treat, to eradicate all the cancer cells.
There's and maybe that's a little bit, people might not be thinking when we start talking about medical care off island and maybe specifically in medical care in Asia, but there are quite advanced facilities in Taiwan.
Yes,
is
that's
my
correct.
recollection.
Yes, our hospital actually spends the majority of their money on machines. We have the latest technology. Our doctor, and we have a high patient volume. So
you got doctors that are seeing things all the time and get pretty good at treatment.
Yes, they get very good at treatment. Plus, because the machines are so advanced, our doctors actually come up with new therapies and new surgeries that are then worldwide, taken worldwide.
Interesting. Are there relationships between your hospital, Yuan's General Hospital, and mainland hospitals? Are there any connections between your operation and the international divisions of some of the bigger hospitals? I'm thinking of Cedars-Sinai, et cetera. They've got an advanced international division, and I'm wondering if you guys have any interfaces.
Currently, we don't. Currently, we are on Guam, and this is besides China and going into Vietnam and covering the Asia Pacific area. Guam is our first foray into.
Well,
the
this will
US.
be interesting. How do you now? You also refer on your business card insurance relations. So,
Yes.
so have you met the Frank Campilios and all the guys out here?
So I'm sort of the be-all, end-all on Guam for Juan's General. So I was here. I picked the commercial space. I've negotiated the contracts. I help with patients. I help get their referrals through to the insurance companies. Then I also advocate on their behalf. So, yeah, I'm sort of everything here.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. So there's somebody on the ground.
Yes.
Is the important thing if you're going to be interested in learning about this. Going back to cancers and things like that, you mentioned some of the obvious ones, your breast cancers and other parts of the body, and the ones that I'm familiar with, say pancreatic cancer. Do you treat pancreatic cancer, and is there a better opportunity for a better survival rate? I mean, pancreatic cancer is usually that's a 6-month killer.
Yeah, it's very difficult cancer because always the late diagnosis. Once they have symptom, only 15% of the patient get operation because once the diagnosis is too late. The tumor engage the vessel, you cannot take it out. So that's why pancreatic cancer is very difficult.
So something like a Whipple procedure just buy you a little bit of time, but unless you actually can get in there and eliminate all that.
15% of patients can get the Whipple operation. Yeah, that's a curative attempt for that.
Yeah.
But 85% of the patients they cannot have operation. They go to chemotherapy and radiotherapy. Once we shrink down the tumor, and the surgeon will evaluate whether they can operate.
Yeah, depending on it. Yeah, so sometimes the cancer will wrap itself right around one of the main veins in the area and make it almost impossible. Isn't there? And I thought about this I recall at the time. I mean, we got some pretty fairly what's the word I'm looking for? We've got some good veins over here in the neck, and we only need one of the two that we get. Is it possible?
It's a jugular vein.
Can you take that out and replace the vein that usually gets surrounded by the cancer?
because that location is very difficult. If you do some the so-called grafting,
right?
This is difficult.
It's just a bad place to get some surgery done, kind of inaccessible from all sizes.
Yes.
And then you have to deal with the cancer as well. So radiation and chemo kind of typical in terms of the treatment for a lot of cancer patients. I was reading in the Guam Daily Post today the story of a woman that came to you with a pretty rare kind of cancer. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that cancers come from the umbilical area. That's called urethral carcinoma. That kind of cancer can go quite big. It's very rare. So, the tumors go up to 40 pounds.
Huh?
40 pounds, just like a 6 newborn baby.
Yeah.
So she suffered from that, and in Guam, and also she went to Cedars-Sinai for help. But after the surgeon evaluated, it's difficult to remove it. And then later on, he had a chance to talk to our surgeon in Ron General Hospital.
Yeah.
And we do all the assessment, and eventually she came to our hospital, and our surgeons remove most of the tumor. They are called terms called debugging. And some of the restricted tumor, some cancer cell there, we use another technique called HIPEC. That means we use the thermal chemotherapy.
You cook it.
Yeah, cook it. Raise the temperature to 43 degrees for the chemotherapy agents that called mitomycin C, and raise that temperature.
That is literally cooking it. To 43 degrees centigrade, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that's hot.
That's more effective to kill the cancer cell. And the two effect, the drug have some cytotoxic that kill the cancer cell, and also the temperature. So one side, the chemotherapy agents go into the abdomen, and the other side, they pump out the cooling chemotherapy.
Yeah. Well, how do you? You're essentially cooking something. I mean, how do you direct the heat to just one place? Surgically making sure that we're only cooking this part of the cancer and not adjacent tissue that we want to save.
We don't use the cooking, but that's the wash.
Oh, you wash it through.
Yeah,
okay,
wash
so
it
all
through,
right, I
wash
see
it
what's
through,
going
yeah.
on. I thought it was one of those things where I'm not suggesting it's a blowtorch device or something like that, but it just seems to me that you need some fine control.
Yeah, this hot chemotherapy agents wash the whole abdomen, and it's toxic to the cancer cell.
Yeah.
But that temperatures, I think the normal tissue still can survive. So after 45 minutes, they get rid of most of the cancer.
Interesting. So and so we've had a positive outcome in this case.
Yes.
That even the people at Cedars thought maybe, well, this is different. I'm curious about the education of the doctors. I think in a lot of cases, especially out here where this is America in Asia, and there might be people going, gee, yeah, it sounds good, and the insurance company likes it, but I don't know, where'd these guys get their medical degrees from? Is this is it trustworthy schools, trustworthy medical backgrounds? And I suppose that you get that question fairly often.
I do, actually. All the doctors have gone to Taiwanese medical schools, but the majority of them do fellowships in the United States. So that's where sort of the English comes in. They've gotten their subspecialty sort of fellowships done in the States. So, we have a lot of educated people.
I could not think of a particular case or an instance of it, but are there times where a particular kind of therapy for cancer of whatever kind is not done in the United States?
Yes, HIPEC.
But oh really? Oh, that's one of them. So you don't do that in the States, but we do it here.
Well,
so I mean, if you've got an advanced case and you're getting turned down at the American hospitals, guess what? We can do this here.
Yes, HIPEC is done in very few places in the United States. I believe Houston, Hopkins does it.
Just hasn't been approved yet, huh? Still experimental?
No, it's not experimental.
There's just not a lot of guys that do it.
It's very expensive. It's very difficult. Patients need to be of, I guess, the the perfect confluence of things need to come together to have this. But and then Belgium and Europe does it. But again, we don't really understand why it's not done in the United States. However, with coming to Taiwan, HIPEC is a possibility, and it's very good because, you know,
you mentioned that it was an expensive procedure, and it might be one of those things where you've got the insurance companies, Medicare, Medicaid, et cetera, and the government payers that are going, yeah, we're not paying that.
It's a specialty, though. It's a really, really focused specialty. So many people don't specialize in that as well. So, but talking about HIPEC, I think of it like sending in disinfectant. You know, what they do is they open you up. They cut out the cancer that needs to be cut out. And so they physically view if there's any other tumors, and then they sort of surround the area and they sort of wash it or disinfect it, I call. And so it's great because the chemotherapy goes directly to
the tissue,
to the tissue, instead of like going through your whole entire body and trying to kill you that way.
Well, it's a very, very interesting process, and we're talking about specifically cancer in this case. Are there other specialties that you do at Jans?
Yes, we do. We specialize in bariatric surgery, which is the weight loss surgery, which helps a lot.
Really?
Yes. And so, but that really helps with the metabolic disease that is rampant. It's becoming rampant in the United States. Here on Guam, it's particularly rampant because, as you know, the metabolic disorders are the combination of diabetes, high blood pressure, and you know, other factors that come into things. So with weight loss surgery, it can really, really help with that. We also do specialize in all cancers. So cancer has been going on in this hospital. This hospital is 73 years old, and it's a family-run hospital. But cancer is so prevalent in Asia. You know, with the betel nut, we do a ton of head and neck surgery where we really specialize in that.
Oh, I chew betel nut every day, but I don't chew it the way they chew it in Taiwan. I've had the betel nut there, where you know it's still very young, kind of jelly on the inside, and they put a flavoring on it, which is so tasty. But it's difficult to get here. But yeah, I know that the prevalence of oral cancer is high there as a result of it. We chew it hard, so there's not so much of the pectins and the other chemicals that'll attack me.
But it's amazing that I had come to find out that oral cancer can even happen due to bad dentures. Anything that is rubbing your mouth or making sores in your mouth and open sores, and then you add tobacco use or betel nut or whatever, you know, it just adds to the growing of the cancer. But we do breast cancer, we do prostate cancer. We have a brand new tomotherapy machine, which Dr.
Tomotherapy is...
Oh,
it's
Dr.
kind
Leon
of a radiation therapy machine.
Oh, I see. I see.
And go ahead.
Yeah, this is very advanced machines. Our hospital brought it from U.S. It's very expensive machine, but that's good because they can irradiate the tumor in 360 degrees.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that device. So even as the body moves up and down, the patient is breathing. It's using scanners, right?
Yes.
We've got scanners so that we know exactly where in space the tumor is, and it will adjust the radiation and have it follow that back and forth.
So it's a much healthier
That's a very
way.
expensive machine.
It's a super expensive machine. I believe Wands General was the first to get tomotherapy, first in Taiwan to get the tomotherapy machine. So and it targets cancer, specifically your cancer. So again, we really try to not radiate the entire body with chemotherapy. Of course, that's needed, but we have a lot of advanced machines.
Do you do a lot of trauma business there? I mean, as a hospital, I imagine you have an emergency room. Is there some trauma business that you do at Jans?
Yes, the orthopedics. We have a lot of motorcycle around the city, so a lot of trauma. So we have the good team there that they take that combined with the general surgery. Sometimes really hurt, and the whole team to treat the trauma.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm wondering if you use pressure, hyperbaric chambers.
Yes,
If we have hyperbaric chambers there as well.
Yes, we
it
do.
sounds like you guys are like totally equipped out. Only a couple of minutes left in this segment. I want to really thank you for coming in because there are people listening that are looking for an option here and something that their insurance companies might be gravitating towards. So I appreciate the idea, Buffy, that and I'll hold on to your business cards.
Thank you.
And if anybody's got any questions, they can find them on the web at...
www.wandsgeneral.com.
Juan's Hospital.
Juan's-
YUANHOSP.com.TW. I'll share that with the listeners on Facebook Live. And rheumatic diseases, are those
yes.
taken care of? You cover that? Because we just got a rheumatic guy here on Guam
great.
after decades of not having one and having GPs take care of it. So
Right.
it would be nice if we got somebody that gets diagnosed out here and then ends up in your hospital.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we take care of everything from we have a great cardiac facility, we have cosmetic surgery, digestive health center, preventative medicine, but major cancers. So all the difficult cancers we can treat.
It'll be interesting to see who else you are running up with, and some of the people that you've talked to here on Guam. I'm thinking of Guam Cancer Care down the street. I'm sure you've had a chance to talk with them.
Yes, we have partnered with them.
Okay.
And we're really trying to help the people of Guam.
Well,
honestly.
you know what? Having used their services before, I'd say it's one of those things where it's nice for them to have another option. This is what you can do here.
Yes.
These are some of the things that you can do in Honolulu. These are some of the things that you can do in the States. However, if you want to, and it's a jump from here to Narita, it's here to Hong Kong, from here to the Philippines, and then you're into Taiwan. And number two, it's a beautiful country.
Yes, and the food is fabulous. But again, there's direct flights on China Airline directly to Taipei. We take you down to the hospital.
Interesting. Listen, I want to thank you both very much for coming in, taking the time to share the information about this. As I said, I'll post the website and some of the other information from Buffy on the Facebook page, and you might be able to talk to them and the folks over at Guam Cancer Care and whoever you have insurance with on Guam and find out what the connections might be. Hey, listen, it might be just something that you can take care of that's been bugging you for all your life. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG Haggadah. Coming up next, I got Fox News Live, and then Shelley's going to be in the studio. We're going to talk about some of the advances that she has made in the field of hydroponics. And I know that since the government has gone recreational with recreational marijuana, there's a lot of people that are wondering, can I use that to grow what I'm eventually going to smoke? Well, we're going to find out together as she gets into the studio. That's ahead right here on The Ray Gibson Show.
It's law. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump inviting first responders to the White House as he signs off on a measure extending health benefits to those suffering from 9/11 related illnesses.
President Trump today signed into law a bill that extends the September 11th Victim Compensation Fund that provides billions in health care compensation for police officers, firefighters, and other first responders.
The first responders from across the country rushed to New York and worked endless days and sleepless nights. They fought to rescue every person trapped in the rubble and then searched for months to find the remains of the fallen.
More than 40,000 people have applied to the fund, which covers illnesses potentially related to being at the World Trade Center site, the Pentagon, or Shanksville, Pennsylvania, after the 9/11 terrorist attacks.
Fox's John Decker at the White House. The 19-year-old suspect in yesterday's shooting at a garlic festival in Gilroy, California, purchased his gun legally in Nevada. 19-year-old Santino William Legan is accused of killing 3 people, including a 6-year-old boy. A dozen others were hurt.
We don't have a motive for the shooting as yet.
Police Chief Scott Smithy, who says Legan appears to have posted to Instagram twice yesterday, including right before the shooting. In Wisconsin, 5 people are dead in 2 separate shootings that authorities say are connected, and authorities say the suspect is among the dead. An American teenager confesses to stabbing an Italian police officer to death.
35-year-old Mario Ceccolarega's funeral took place today in the same church where he was married 43 days ago. 2 Americans have allegedly confessed their roles in murdering the police officer. 19-year-old Finnegan Lee Elder said he stabbed Ceccolarega in self-defense because he thought he was being strangled, according to a judge's report Monday.
Fox's Amy Kellogg. This is Fox News.
Get a free Polar Pop any size when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a free coffee any size when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get $5 off any Circle K car wash package when you purchase $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
65 years ago, Bank Pacific opened its doors to our community. As we celebrate, we offer you a special 65th anniversary personal loan rate for as low as 4.65% for travel, back to school, a wedding. Do whatever you want with the money. During July, we just want to give it to you for as low as 4.65% APR. It's our birthday present to you.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC, conditions apply.
Federal judge deals a blow to Trump administration efforts to place work requirements on people seeking Medicaid benefits in New Hampshire.
D.C. Judge James Roseberg's decision comes after his conclusion that the action could cause many New Hampshire residents to lose health care coverage. The Trump administration had allowed New Hampshire and several other states to require job training for people seeking Medicaid coverage, but 4 state residents sued, saying the Department of Health and Human Services did not properly approve the state's plan. Judge Roseberg has blocked similar attempts by Kentucky and Arkansas to enact the Medicaid conditions. The work requirement was proposed after Medicaid expanded following passage of the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Flight cuts, slower growth, and job losses could be coming to European budget airline Ryanair if delays in deliveries of the Boeing 737 MAX jet keep happening. CEO Michael O'Leary with the comments during an earnings conference call this afternoon. Boeing is working to fix flight control software that has been blamed for 2 crashes that killed nearly 350 people. The nation's top diplomat heading to Asia this week as tensions with Pyongyang heat up again.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says he's expecting negotiations with North Korea to resume in a matter of weeks. This week, he's off to the region, first stopping in Bangkok, Thailand, for an international summit there. A senior State Department official says North Korea is a concern for all the countries at this summit in Thailand, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Senior officials refuse to say whether Secretary Pompeo will join any specific meetings on North Korea at the summit. This nearly week-long trip also brings the secretary to Australia, and officials say he'll be the first sitting Secretary of State to visit Micronesia. At the State Department, Rich Edson, Fox News.
Documentary about the life and political career of former President George W. Bush coming to PBS next year. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Whether it's for business or pleasure, staying connected when you travel is always essential. And now when you travel to South Korea, enjoy free data roaming with Docomo Pacific. Navigate the city, look up the best restaurants, email back home, or post all your pictures, all on the go for free. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your postpaid account is ready for roaming. You plus Docomo Pacific. Better together.
I hear that.
Some conditions apply. See print ad for details.
5 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Appreciate that, Ronnie. And just a reminder, it is Tuesday, and on Tuesdays at Ruby Tuesdays, 2 endless garden bars, 2 tasty entrees, and a dessert to share for one terrific price. 2-for-1 Tuesday offer, 2 complete meals for a terrific value at just $25.99. Available all day, every Tuesday for a limited time at Ruby Tuesdays Guam. Jeff and Joe say there's never been a better time to go solar because now we have solar and batteries together for you. 632-2613. Get you a free consultation and all the features and benefits of why you want something like that. Well, Morning Show also brought to you by APL, global presence with a local home, and it's the Summer of Jeep, but for just one more day. They're going to close up the Summer of Jeep tomorrow, so this could be your last chance to test drive a new Wrangler, a Compass, a Cherokee, or Grand Cherokee, and take advantage of the 1.99% APR on your good credit. 6 after 9, it's the Ray Gibson Show.
Any speaker, anytime. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Let's see now. Where to in the broadcast? I spent a little bit of time talking with the medical professionals from Yuan's General Hospital in not in Taiwan. It's what did she say that was, Kaohsiung, someplace like that. I mean, you kind of got to know your way around. But she did say something about the food, and I don't know if you've ever had the chance to go to Taiwan. It's Chinese, but it's a whole different kind. It's a whole universe of other Chinese food. And there was a last time I was there, I was running around with a couple of people, and number one, they enjoyed buying buying me lots of beer, which was great. But they were also testing me on the limits of my culinary adventurousness. And so there were all kinds of things that I put into my mouth that I don't know that I would do here, other than trying to impress them. There's something about blood pudding, and they kind of ask you in the beginning of these. Oh, it's so good. And then there's a thing called stinky tofu. Have you ever tried that? Like it's tofu, but it's fermented and it stinks. And it's
That's not like the natto.
No, but I know what natto is. Yeah, I've seen some of that. That's another one where you got to pinch your nose as you eat it because it's slimy and it smells funky and it's all of that. So very close, very dear personal friend Shelly Crisostomo in the studio with me. How you doing there? Good. You're good. Get closer to the microphone and get closer to the camera because everybody's so she's a little bit shy this morning and because the last time we talked we got along just fine and it occurred to me in that conversation that you are all about kind of the natural, aren't you?
Try to be as best as I can, yeah.
And now following you on Facebook, there are things that displays and things like that. I want to say you're constantly showing off like a young plant that you can use for something later on. And I'm trying to remember exactly where I'd seen some of those pictures of before, succulents and things like that that you can turn into salads and for clean eating. Yeah,
I was like, which ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do all kinds of plants, but the microgreens is what you're talking about.
Microgreens. Tell me the story of the microgreens before we get into this concept of hydroponics. And I'll say the word like I know what it means, but I don't actually understand the process. But microgreens, what's that?
So microgreens, they're grown hydroponically or in soil, but they're just tiny little greens just below like the baby green stage of your regular herbs and vegetables.
And we use them for?
You can use them for salads, in your garnishes, because they're actually really cute, pretty, kind of like salad confetti.
It's those little tiny, like the little tiny pear tomatoes that you see. They're yellow and they look like pears, but they're really tomatoes. And I remember the first time I ever got a salad with those in a salad, and I thought, well, this is interesting. Now they've got pears in salad, and the guy says, nah, that's a special, crazy kind of very small. Yeah, and it, part of kind of a different flavor than what I was used to in terms of a salad. Yeah. So you've got all of these different uses for them, and you're right, they are kind of cute. Baby anythings are cute, right?
Yeah.
Are they hard to grow?
They're actually super easy to grow. So there's different stages of the plant. There's like the sprout stage. So microgreens are not considered sprouts, although some people kind of get the two confused. So they go from sprouts to the microgreen to the baby green, and then you have like your full size.
Then you go into full-grown vegetable. Now, why would you go and just leave it at the baby? Why wouldn't you just go and I want poundage here? I want the big plant. Do they taste different? Is there a different texture?
A lot of it there is. It's actually stronger. Like if it's maybe a bitter vegetable, it actually could be a little bit more bitter. It has a lot of flavor.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so more flavor than if it was older.
Is it just concentrated, or is it just that's what they taste like when they come out at that age?
That's what they taste
like.
Oh,
that's that to me is a fascinating conversation. So something as simple as say a tomato or one of the other leafy greens that you'd put into a salad, spinach or something like that. At a later stage, you eat the microgreen version of it, and it's more concentrated flavor.
At the earlier stage.
At the earlier stages, that is very, very cool.
I mean, even like corn, for example.
How do you get? What do you get? Do you buy seeds and stuff and just kind of stick them in some kind of medium? That's it.
Yeah, and like I said, like a lot of our customers, because we do have a microgreen farm, so they are like in the fancy hotels and restaurants. So sometimes you don't even think about like why your salad looks so pretty, but they're all the little garnishes.
So they learn something new about you every day. So you guys have a farm. The family's got a farm where you grow all this stuff.
Yes.
How's business?
It's good. It's right now just me and my sister doing it, and my dad, he kind of was the one who started it and wants us to take over most of it. So we're just getting used to, the routine of it and everything. But I've been helping him for years now on his farm. So
interesting. And so about, I would think in terms of the scale here, in terms of pounds, how many pounds are you selling to hotels and restaurants now? And where have I eaten your delicious little succulents?
Let's see, Weston, if you eat there, like at Prego, I think even in the taste.
The buffet downstairs, yeah.
Weston PIC Bistro.
Yeah.
You can find a lot of the garnishes there. It's another Pacific Star.
Cool.
Is one of them too.
So you've got this. It sounds like you've got a pretty cool and growing customer base.
Yeah, and a lot of the little cafe and deli restaurants too. They use them in sandwiches and wraps and stuff. So
And you can mention a couple of those places as well, because I want to encourage them to keep using your businesses. So if you've got a couple of other key clients that you'd like to say, oh yeah, and go eat a sandwich over at this place, then you can go ahead and do that right now.
So I know Boca Box. Brown Bag Cafe. There's also like Delmonico, Rotten Apple, and some of those are also they're still like my dad's customers too. So I'm not exactly sure who all he's serving, but that was who the last time I.
Well, you
checked,
did.
so.
You said Rotten Apple, and that strikes a chord with me because I know the chef there, Chef Eddie, and he's sometimes he strikes me as more science than chef.
Okay.
Because of the way that he puts together some of his meals and some of the ways that he does his programs.
Yeah.
You remember he did that the year of the hamburger, and every day there was a different hamburger that you could get over
really
at his restaurant.
creative with his menu.
And extremely creative. Okay, so you're going to be having a workshop.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So on the side of the farm, right?
Yeah.
And the farm really was what started all this like inspiration to do a lot of these things. And then the GU Hydro, the hydroponic company that I started, really was also to help us on the farm because we needed a lot of supplies that was hard to find. And I figured, well, there's other people out there that probably need the same thing. So we kind of started this. But the class that we're having, I'm actually teaming up with another company called iGrew, IGRU. And so these guys bring in grow tents and grow lights for indoor.
So you said grow lights, and I remember reading a marijuana magazine from a few years back, and they were all about grow lights and things like that. So let's, if we can, just kind of step through this hydroponic program. So indoors or outdoors, both?
You can do hydroponics both ways, indoors or outdoors, yeah.
And startup, what are the things, the basics? What do we absolutely positively need to put together, a hydroponic, panel for me to start growing? And I'll be specific here because I know that now that Guam is recreational land for marijuana, there are a lot of people that are going, what is the best, most effective, most efficient, easiest way to grow marijuana for maximum THC or whatever the max is that they want to get out of these things? And I'm sure that is a question that's probably gone over a couple of times in your head as well.
Yeah, definitely. So hydroponics, there's so many different, different ways you could do it, and definitely if you want to grow food or if you want to grow marijuana, there's
I got pay less for food.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one. They're going to open up one at the end of the month down just that far away from my house, and I'm sure that you're going to have some stuff in there as well. So if I need that, that's where I'm going to go. But for the specific, I've got some primo marijuana. I have my 6 marijuana seeds, and I want to make sure that I get the best grow out of them. How do I do it?
Okay, so if you really want to keep it simple, like maybe you haven't grown before, hydroponics can be it's not as forgiving as growing in soil. So if you haven't kind of adopted the understanding of growing in general, it could be a little bit difficult. So I'd go with the easiest method of hydroponics, which would be like coco coir, which is very similar to soil. Well, first of all, we should explain what hydroponics is.
Yeah, start with, the coco coir, I think it sounds like the medium that we're going to be growing, whatever it is that we're going to be growing in. But I'm equating in my head, it was once upon a time, I'd gone to the beach and I saw these fish, and I said to a friend, I'd like to be able to take these fish and put them in an aquarium. And the guy says, have you ever done a saltwater aquarium before? And I said, no. He says, well, get ready to kill every single one of those fish that you like. Learn how to do it, and then you can go out and get some exotics. So it's the same thing, right? Yeah. So start with the easy one and then work your way up to some of the things that are a little bit more fancier, a little bit more exotic. So the basics.
So the basics, for example, in the class that we're going to be doing, we're not going to be covering how to grow anything. It's just about the equipment indoor to set up. But we will talk about different mediums of hydroponics versus soil. And for these people attending the class, a lot of them, I'm assuming, are beginners because this is a beginner class. So I would probably bring in samples of the coco coir, which is very similar to soil. It just does not include any nutrients or anything. It's very inert, I guess is what you would call it. It's made from coconut fiber. So hydroponics is just growing or producing any kind of plant without soil. That's
You just need something to grow it in. But in this
Right.
case, this cocoa core that you're talking about doesn't impart anything to the plant that you're growing. So
Yeah.
do I need to add my own nutrients?
right. So with
and plant foods?
hydroponics, you would be supplementing the nutrients to the plant.
And where does that go through some kind of a stream of water? I drop it into the plant. What's how do I feed them?
It'll some of them can sit inside the water completely. Some of them just drain through your pots, drain and just come out just like soil would in a pot, and then some have no cocoa core. You can grow them in different things like clay pebbles, and then the roots will dangle down into the water for like another method called deep water culture, where you just have the roots submerged in water and you provide oxygen to the roots.
Interesting. Okay, so obviously you need to have some kind of pumping ability, either to pump air in.
For that type of system, yeah.
Is there a constant flow of water through these things, or are they just sitting in water? I imagine there's a little river. And
Actually,
at one
some
point
systems, some types of methods will constantly sit in water, oxygenated water, and then some systems, the water just consistently flows through
Back
to
and
keep
forth?
the roots wet. Back and forth, or just drains right through it. But constantly, or it's also like aeroponics, where it's just kind of misting the roots completely instead of submerging it.
So with marijuana, as an example, so we've decided, okay, we're going to get here's the medium. It's going to grow in cocoa core, and then we're going to put it in some kind of water. Your recommendation for the method of watering it? Would you use the oxygenated method, or would you use the back and forth method?
For your particular situation, I would use the cocoa core method because it's similar to just growing with soil. It's pretty forgiving. Totally recommend that first if you haven't done hydroponics, and then
these
gradually.
are 6 rare seeds I'm holding on to. It's not like you can go to the store and buy them.
No.
And so I've got the seeds. We put them in the core. We throw we put the medium with the seed in the water.
Well, you'll want to, sprout your seed first, maybe in like a little small cube, like a growing cube.
Okay. So
wanna
there is a little bit of dirt stuff first. You don't put the seed directly into the medium?
I would suggest you propagate your seeds separately because they like, warm temperatures. Anyway, like some people have their own nursery just for sprouting their seeds.
Yeah.
And then once it becomes, strong enough to handle all that water and everything, and you kind of slowly put it into the different, whatever medium that you choose. So you could do there's little growing cubes made out of rock wool. He's taking notes.
Yeah. Yes, I am. Well, no, because it's interesting, and it also leads kind of into some of the next questions.
Yeah.
And one of them is, there are some plants in the world where they say that you got to be careful because you can overwater these plants. I don't know what the deal is on marijuana. Can you overwater marijuana in this medium, in this hydroponic?
Yeah, you could. Most of that medium.
Kind of want to ask the question if you've ever grown marijuana with the hydroponic system. I can neither confirm nor deny.
I wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't.
There you go. So we have experience. Do you have any samples? Did you bring any samples with you? Do you have any show and tell on you, Shelley?
I have my medicine. Yeah.
So there's a method that you use to grow herbs for medicinal purposes?
There's a lot of different methods. Yes.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right. This is one of those things where I need to go on a tour of the facility. So when and where is this seminar that you got?
So it's this Saturday, August 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the Hive. It starts at 10 o'clock.
That's a coffee shop.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So 10 o'clock
and they have
Saturday
a
morning.
nice little think tank area
Upstairs.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna set up. The iGrew team and I will set up a little display maybe by Thursday so people can check it out.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So and for more information, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, you can go to guhydro.com.
guhydro.com.
Yep.
Full-blown website.
Yes.
And people can find you on Facebook.
Correct, Facebook and
Instagram. And learn a whole lot more about that.
Yeah.
Will there, now this is, as you say, this is going to be kind of a beginner class, right? You know, for people that like me that are just walking in, and you know, I saw an ad for my buddies over at ERC Trading, and they had some hydroponic stuff, but I don't want to go in and spend a couple of $100 on something that is eventually I'm not going to be able to understand and not be able to use, and it's just going to sit and collect dust in the garage.
Correct, yeah.
So that's the idea.
And I think a lot of people are intimidated sometimes to ask for help. They don't know where to start, and they're uncomfortable in the store just asking, you know, the person.
Well, how did you guys get started?
Well, my dad's always been farming and doing hydroponics.
So it's just
growing up. Yeah, we were around it all the time, and it was just kind of the perfect time to
think, to branch out in this. Will there be one that's a little bit more advanced?
Yes, we are looking at different aspects of growing. So this one is just on equipment. You know, we want to do one on like cloning. When you get into hydroponics, there's so many areas about that. We've already done, we've teamed up with another organization to teach people how to grow hydroponics, but just it can get very technical, so we could go further into it. And
well, like water temperatures and things like that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
even just a
everything
class
is a factor.
on light could take hours.
Well, I mean, you were talking about grow tents and grow lights. So I mean, there's all these other components that you would use. So a grow light obviously is to help with the photosynthesis and to keep the internal mechanisms in the plant going. What does the grow tent do? Keep bugs away?
Yeah, the grow tent will, if you're doing it inside your house, you know, plants are sensitive to light. So that's one of the reasons a grow tent is good, because you can control the light, you know, in order for the plants to bloom like they would naturally. You have to set the time of darkness and, you know, time of daylight. So.
Oh, that in and of itself is kind of it. You've got to follow the circadian cycle.
Outside, yeah, so that's kind of what the grow tent is there for, to manipulate the environment and control it.
What about bugs?
Yeah, bugs are always a problem on Guam.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of the hydroponics, what about the?
You're less susceptible to bugs if you're growing inside. You know, whether it be anything, but just some natural stuff like neem oil, and just really taking care of your area where you're growing is important. You know, I've got bugs all the time, and I think Guam is just one of those places. But
well, I mean, a lot of people are concerned about pesticides and the use of pesticides, especially with marijuana, because, you know, we went to a completely natural high here.
Right.
So are there other herbs that you might be growing, or other companion plants that you can grow that will either attract the bug away from the marijuana plant, or make it so that the bugs don't necessarily come? So you got a marijuana plant and it's surrounded by these other plants that keep the varmints away. Is there something like that?
You would use. I use neem oil personally to do that. But as long as you keep it clean, and there's
I
not
asked the question, and I have no idea what she said.
Neem oil, neem, N-E-E-M. It's a natural oil. I don't know if it's made from tea tree leaves or what, but it's a natural pesticide, so the smell is very strong too, and it kind of deters bugs.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Pam Duvall's online. She's got a couple of comments. What if you can't have a grow light? From Lady D asking that question. What if you can't have a grow light?
Oh, you'll need to be growing outside in the sun, or if you have like a very good window that would provide a lot of sun to your plant from inside, then you could do it.
I'm trying to remember the law as it stands now, and if we're growing marijuana plants, they have to be grown inside, and they cannot be near a window. Is the understanding, because we don't want people to be able to see inside of what you're doing. James Howard says, "Nice, she's medicated. I like her." And Pam wants me to invite you to their chat group called Let's Toke.
Cool.
And I could do that. Hydro provides the best yield and quality, according to Joey Toves, and Pam wants me to ask you about growing in sponges. Before we get to that, though, Mike, would you want to ask her?
I wanted to find out. Can she hear me?
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
She can hear me, and that's the only thing.
Okay, so given the current parameters that the legislature has put down, and I'm talking specifically for marijuana growth, so I can have 3 juvenile, 3 adult plants, what would be an optimal hydroponic system that I could use for that? And what I'm really interested in here is how much would that system cost? Ballpark figure.
So you have to consider all the equipment, especially your area that you're going to grow it in. Do you need a tent? Because if you do, then you'll have to add that to the price. You know, if you're going to be I guess also depending on how much yield you want. There's a lot of factors to consider, but you can have a really basic setup with, gosh, maybe even like under $300, $400 if you wanted to start really simple. But like the class that we're having, we have complete packages that we're offering. So they're about maybe $600, $650 for everything, the light, the tent, the basics that you need. And there's so many different options and additional things you can get that could really run the price up.
Oh, of course, like anything. Like any new hobby, there's an easy way to get into it, and then you can just jump in with both feet and find other ways. So about $650, decent size investment. But it seems to me after that, some of the other stuff that you're going to want to put in it is free. I don't. What kind of water would you use? Pam talking about maybe doing some catchment and getting some rainwater and using that in your hydroponics.
Oh, okay, yeah. You could totally do that too. There's a lot of ways. Hydroponics in itself is meant to conserve water. I think that's why we do it a lot too. And so if you want to, I mean, rainwater is great. I would, if we had as much rainwater, you know, I would use it all the time. But yeah, usually you have to treat your water. So on Guam, you know, the tap water is not very ideal for growing hydroponics, and you can encounter a lot of issues.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff in it.
Chlorine, there's a lot of minerals.
Not so much about the chlorine. There's a lot of minerals. At my place, it's amazing. You know just how
with the
rocky it is.
limestone and everything that you know.
So I've got a filter in front of everything at the house, and it's still not enough. So I'm wondering, you know, and there might be some other people that are there are water softeners out there that use salt as part of the equation, the filtration and the softening process. Would you use that in your hydroponics?
No, I don't think the salt would be a good idea. You're going to want to get everything out of your water. So reverse osmosis water, and they have machines and little
There's
setups you
another
can add.
$1,000.
Yeah, exactly. So you could go buy drinking water and use that, or you could use the rainwater.
Yeah, like I said, the rain is free. Do you have a favorite plant that you like to stick in a hydroponic hole? Is there like what's the Shelley go-to plant?
Peppers.
Really?
Yeah.
Like bell pepper or pepper like Donny pepper?
Like pica peppers. Yeah.
Nice. And again, see, I want samples now. Will there be samples available at the Hive at 10 o'clock on Saturday?
Possibly. There's actually some people who are sick, and do need this as medication and just can't grow it themselves. And some of them are they don't have friends, or they're new here, or, so they don't know who to connect with to help them get their So we're also providing information about, going to public health and getting those applications if you need to.
Oh, for the medicinal marijuana, or just finding 6 seeds, I think is what that's what you're allowed to have at one time. And just call Michael Knight at 888-8255, and he might be able to push you in the direction. Is there a holy grail in your business, in the hydroponics business? Is there something that we're stretching the technology and we're stretching the technique to try to get towards?
Oh.
In terms of what kind of plant do you want to grow? How do we make something that's more product dense?
There is a plant that's called Holy Grail.
Oh, I had no idea.
So, as far as stretching it, if you have the time, and you really want to dedicate yourself to growing hydroponics, for a living or whatever, there's so many ways. There's so many. I look at other countries and what they're doing in terms of farming and like providing food, and it's with the earth, like in the soil, just becoming worse and worse, hydroponics is a really good go-to method to provide food for people. So there's so many, I guess, so much research still going on.
I worry about that. I worry about food security. I think it's one of the things that we don't spend enough time worrying about. Is one of these days, if something happens, there's a bright flash from somewhere, and the planes stop coming in and the ships stop coming in. How are we going to take care of feeding 165,000 people on an island this size? And everybody's going to have to learn how to grow stuff again. And if we know people that already have the knowledge on hydroponics, and it doesn't sound like with hydroponics that there is a requirement requirement for a lot of acreage here, and it doesn't sound like we've got to worry about the soil being devastated or using it, overuse of the soil. And it sounds like there's ways that you can use hydroponics to grow a variety of things to eat, things to use for medicine, things to use to relax yourself. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're doing it. Again, if you want to get a hold of Shelley, find her on Facebook or Instagram, or go to the World Wide Web, Guam, guhydro.com. Otherwise, just show up Saturday morning at 10 o'clock over at Do I need to bring money?
Well, I don't think you should just show up because it's a really limited class, but there are 2 seats left. So
Oh, really?
it's a small, because we want to make it intimate so that we make sure that they learn.
Oh, I see.
And
It's
they're
like
gonna have
small classrooms.
They're
yeah.
going to have a chance to assemble their own grow tent and assemble their lights themselves. So
I got that, yeah.
So yeah, and we'll do more of these if seats fill up and people need it.
Will you keep coming back to tell me about it?
Yes, of course. Thank you for inviting me.
Are you kidding? I looked at that and I said, that's literally something that I want to know about. I don't know that I'll be able to make it on Saturday morning, but definitely wanted to help you make sure that those last 2 seats are taken care of. And, you know, as I'm fond of saying anymore these days, tell the others. It's 9:32 in the morning. We'll call that iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect and learn about how they're going to help save you money in 2019, or what's left of it now. Maybe help you do some Christmas shopping for Christmas 2019. That is at iConnect, 888-8888.
Biba Guam! As Guam celebrates 75 years of liberation, Nambo Insurance honors the brave heroes who dedicated their lives to fight for our freedom. With great pride, we salute those who made our liberation possible. At Nambo Insurance, they share the same dedication to serve our community. From offering reliable home, auto, motorcycle, and business insurance to providing friendly holiday service, Nambo Insurance is dedicated to serving Guam. From your Nambo family, happy liberation, Guam.
Portions of the program here on the Ray Gibson Show also brought to you by Wendy's. Now, I tell you what, my guess is I'm trying to figure out whether the ingredients that they use in the Wendy's salad can be grown hydroponically. And one of my favorite parts of this berry burst chicken salad at Wendy's is strawberries. So, quick question to Shelley. Can we grow? I know we can grow strawberries on Guam. I know it's possible to grow them here. Have you ever tried growing them in a hydroponic medium? Never gone down that road?
No, I haven't tried messing with strawberries yet.
Put it on the list. We'll
Yeah.
stick it on the list anyway. And if you can't wait for her to put it on the hydroponic list, swing by the nearest Wendy's and pick up a packet of that stuff. We got the berry burst, it's got the strawberries, got blueberries, feta cheese, and raspberry vinaigrette. Find that today.
Are you a person who does really good work, but you're not very good or very comfortable with letting that fact be known? In other words, self-promotion just isn't for you? I'm Jerry Roberts, and at 7:20 a.m. on The Ray Gibson Show, we'll have a perspective on this that might change your mind.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts. Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Studio time 9:34, and there I was, getting ready to say goodbye to Shelley and congratulate her for not dying in her first radio broadcast interview, and she was all nervous for it, and that's cool. So you didn't die, and then all of a sudden the phone starts ringing. I got guys that want to ask you some questions about hydroponics, I think in particular, but maybe just growing stuff in general. We'll start with Joe. Good morning, Joe.
Hi. Are there any particular pesticides that we should be careful about using? And should they disclose all use of pesticides, because we're talking about consuming, especially for medicinal marijuana?
Yes, you should always, get educated on the pesticides that you're using. Like, for example, me as a farmer, we don't use pesticides, but I would suggest EPA has regulations and, recommendations, but they only require it, I guess, for farmers. So people at home should, just know what you're using, or just use all natural. You shouldn't be having really huge pesticide problems in your house. And if you are, fix that first before you start growing again.
Oh, that's good advice. That's good advice right there. But Joe, she'd also mentioned earlier in the program, and I'll ask her about it again. It's if we're talking about marijuana plants and you want to keep the bugs away from the plants, there may be some things besides. And she said, look for a natural solution. And there are other plants,
neem oil, yeah.
neem oil, and maybe other plants that you can put in and around.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if marigold would work for that, but I've just tried experimenting with it recently. So.
But don't be afraid to ask, right? What they use for pesticides, right?
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. So thanks, and also don't be afraid to call in, because I think people who are maybe some side effects might be a little bit intimidated to call in. But anyway, thanks for sharing the information.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad that you called, because I think it's one of the important things is that we got to worry about here on Guam, because there are bugs. And I think the best piece of the advice is if you're going to be setting aside some space in the real estate in your house for a hydroponic system, the smart move would be to get rid of the bugs first. You got soldier ants running around and maybe flying cockroaches and lizards. You call Ken Williams, and Kenny Williams will be happy to come by the house and take care of the varmints outside, take care of the varmints inside, and give you as close to a clean slate as possible as you move forward with what is going to end up to being your new hobby, your new lifestyle, I suppose. Shelly Crisostomo in the studio, Ray Gibson online, and here's my buddy Marquez. Good morning, bro.
Hey, Day. Yeah, I used to do that for a number of years, between 2003 and 2015, approximately, in Oregon with the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program, both land-based and hydroponics. Hydroponics is not really organic, but it can get pretty close to it. And then a good solution, like she mentioned, total planting, marigolds, and other plants around the plant will help. And then there's other natural chemicals. And then there are even good natural pesticides that they sell, I know, on base here in Guam and at Home Depot. But I do consulting for commercial-based and home-based systems. I work with a friend, Shelly might know of, Jimmy, who also sells kits and things like that. And but yeah, my son has a master's in chemistry in San Francisco. Used to work with the number 3 lab he was the chief chemist there for Ski Hill, and they did a lot of the testing, both with spectrometry and for mold and mildew, which is for medical purposes, cancer patients and so on. You really do want to be extra careful and making sure that you don't introduce anything to a compromised immune system.
Noted. So no compromising the immune system. Don't accidentally give yourself AIDS. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting to finish up the conversation. I think maybe if anything, I don't know if even if they're sold out, you can still hang out over at the Hive and maybe before or after get together with Shelly and her sister, and maybe her old man will be there and learn a little bit more and maybe ways that you can build this community of people that are just interested in hydroponics around here, because it sounds like it might be a pretty interesting way to move forward. Now, I've tried to keep the conversation centered on marijuana because I think that is one of the places that's now the catalyst for people to become more interested in this. But hey, dude, if you just want to grow your own salad, if you just want to grow your own herbs in the house in a unique way to do it, then I don't see why you couldn't just go to, as you said, Home Depot and grab a packet of seeds and some growing stuff and get it done.
Right.
All right. Dude, I'll talk to you pretty soon. You have an outrageous one, all right? That's the 888-825-5888-TALK, 20 away from 10 o'clock in the morning. So this time I am going to let you go. And thank you very much for coming. Do I have a break set up? Because I got to do selfie. We got a selfie. He's making it. My producer's making that face. Oh, we got a format here that you got to stick with every once in a while. And we will. So an advanced class maybe a little bit later on. Where we can take some of the graduates of this get together this weekend and say, okay, this is where you've been, and here is your next challenge.
Yeah, so once we meet with them and see where they want to go next, and all the feedback that I get from other people out there in the community will kind of give us an idea of what class most people really want after this one.
Getting any help from the government of Guam? My guess is you also know Chelsea Munyabrecht. We all hang out seemingly at the same place. You guys get a chance to talk about hydroponics in the Department of Agriculture?
I haven't met her personally, but I think we've been in the same emails together, just for other projects that we're working on, but not specifically hydroponics, but just other farming stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'll tell you what, at 19 away from 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to kill the rest of this hour going through some of the table of contents, and I'll get to that after we get through with these.
We understand what matters to you because at Docomo Pacific, we're a family too. With the Now Family program, mom, dad, and kids stay connected on the latest devices the whole family can enjoy. For just $155 a month, get 3 lines with 30 gigs of 4G LTE data each, and endless use of your favorite apps without affecting your monthly data bucket. Add more, get more, save more. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
In the morning, I'm sure nobody noticed. 888-825-5888-TALK. Got the selfie in there, and I'll post that up. And then later on, Shelley will tag herself with more information, websites, and for more information on the get-together on Saturday. Again, it's going to be over at the Hive at 10 o'clock, just a couple of seats left. So I'd start looking for her on Facebook and Instagrams right about now and see if you can snag those last couple of seats in there. And so now, as I said, going through the table of contents, and I was originally going to spend a little bit of time this morning talking about what I thought were some interesting cases. I might still get to it. The interesting case on Castro and that shooting up in Jigo, and it coming from kind of an unusual background, if you will, about with the Facebook messages back and forth and the questions and comments about snitches and things like that. And so it was very, very interesting to see where this is going to end up and what the rest of the investigation is going to look like. The police, I think, are going to move with caution through all of this, and because I think there are a lot of players involved in different places. Right. And again, the conversation about is he a snitch, was he not a snitch, and he, in at least one of his videos on Facebook, suggested that he might be outing somebody sometime, and it occurred to me that maybe that somebody might have taken actions into his own hands, and shoot, bang.
Yeah, well, the thing that gets me about it is, and I've wondered about this, because you see so many things posted on Facebook that could actually get people done like this.
And I'm wondering if that was the case. Yeah. I mean, if to what degree did social media play a role in this case? We'll know more as the days go by and the police get through their investigation. As I said, I don't anticipate a quick investigation on this. I think this is one of those things where they're going to be moving slowly and methodically through the case and some of the evidence that they find up in this case. But absolutely a crazy story. Bob Wilkie's in town. You might not know him, or maybe you do. He's the secretary, cabinet-level guy, and representing the VA here on Guam. So he's out and I don't know. I talked to my cousin Fred. Fred, is Bob Wilkie coming to Guam? I can neither confirm nor deny, and if that information turns out to be true, it will come through the media branch of the media arm of the administration. Janella will tell you, or somebody else will. It'll come through. Crystal Paco will tell you.
That's right.
And so finally, that eventually happened. The guy is on Guam. And he's going to be going and getting in front of certainly people in the legislature, people in the administration. There's a press release that went out yesterday. Secretary Wilkie's visit to Guam gives us an opportunity to work on long-standing issues affecting the veteran community and advance our agenda of improving the availability of services. We hope to get his full support to provide our veterans with the services that they deserve. Now, I'm scanning through this email, this press release, to see if there's when that opportunity is going to be to meet up with Bob, if the veterans will have a chance to meet up with Mr. Wilkie while he's here in town. And the answer is I don't know. I don't see anything on the paperwork in front of me, but it could be someplace else.
I just really hope during his visit he gets a full understanding of just how poorly veterans are handled here on Guam, which is ridiculous because we have the highest per capita military service in the entire country, and something really needs to be done about it.
We'll see what happens. There have been some other high-ranking guys coming in and out of Guam and purporting to want to do things. The other part of that, and I think it's kind of tricky, is not everybody gets the same kind of treatment here. Because I will hear from some vets and say, oh, yeah, it's terrible over at the Seabog, and I don't, it takes me so long, or everything has got to go through Hawaii, and my life sucks. And then I'll hear from other guys that absolutely love the service that they get. And I don't know what the difference is, what the distinction is, and why there might be this kind of disparate treatment. It has been worse than it is now, I think, but with as many new guys that have worn, guys and girls that have worn the uniform of the armed forces of our country and have served in some of our longest battle actions in, say, the history of the United States. There's a lot of people coming back with some serious problems, physical and mental, as the case may be. So, yeah, it'll be fun to watch and see what happens with this guy. We were going to, at some point, talk to somebody at the Power Authority, but we've been so busy, I don't know that we've had a chance or will have a chance to get them on the line. There is a vendor outreach program that they're going to be doing. It'll take place today and tomorrow at the Gloria B. Nelson Public Service Building at Fadian, Mangilaw, on the first floor, room A and B. This will go until 11 o'clock today, and again 9 to 11 tomorrow. And the object of the game is the Guam Power Authority, like many other entities on Guam, is a provider of services, to be sure, but they also use services. And you might be wondering if there might be a business opportunity between you and one of Guam's largest utilities, one of Guam's largest employers, and that's how you're going to find out. Which one did I get? Avade, this is Raymond Gibson on 93.3 The Point. Who's this?
This is Tracy Limtiaco, Ray Gibson.
Hey, how you doing there?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm living the dream, Trace. Living the dream.
You are.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures on Facebook, Gib. You are definitely living the dream. As I was saying, GPA, big provider of service, but also a big consumer of goods and services and things that they need to take care of their employees and operations at the shop. And so if you are a vendor of any kind, really, you probably ought to get up to Fadian today and tomorrow, right?
That's right, Ray. We are having our first annual vendor outreach fair. So the purpose of the fair is to invite existing business owners and who do business or want to do business with GPA. And you're right, GPA buys everything from office supplies to power poles to parts, for cars and power plants and all kinds of things in between. And so we want to support local businesses, and we want to know what you have out there. And if we don't know what you have out there, it's hard for us to spec it. So we're inviting businesses to come in, bring your business cards, bring your capability statements, things that you sell. We have a form. We're going to capture your basic information, email addresses, who's your POC, stuff that you sell, services you offer. And we have things for you too, quick reference guides to Guam procurement, because we know that it is a mystery to a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you're paying any attention to any kind of conversation about procurement in the government and news stories about the procurement in the government, but generally that doesn't affect the Power Authority. I don't know that there are many times where I've seen them in the middle of something, and if there was, it's not rising to the surface here in my thoughts. But I mean, you got trucks, you got somebody that needs to sell gas accounts, phone accounts, one way or the other. I mean, there's just everything anything that you've got. I was talking with Art about this the other day. You guys even buy radio advertising, so I might want to send somebody up there to make sure that our business card is within handy reach.
Yep, absolutely, Ray. Please come up, send someone up, send Mike up. I'd like to see him in person.
Oh, you want me to bring Mike over?
Sure.
I don't know. No, we've already got a couple of errands that we've got to run. I got to go buy some more air freshener, and so.
You'll have to, I have to make sure all of the restraining orders don't apply to where they're located.
Yeah, to the Guam. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's. I don't think what you did rises to the level of moral turpitude. So let's not worry about that too much. 888-8255-888-TALK. But you're not actually going to be buying anything today. You're just kind of like taking interviews, taking business cards, and putting together, for interest later on, right?
Absolutely. And Ray, we're going to be doing this every year. This is really important. It's important to support Guam's island business community. Mm-hmm. And it's very important for our business community to understand what Guam Power Authority's needs are. So that they could be ready, take a look at our procurement. Everything that we buy, we want to make sure we get the best price for, and that we're giving everybody.
No, and I like the support local business thing as well. There's a time, and I couldn't. I'm sure there's somebody still doing it, but there was a time we used to import things like utility poles. We don't import utility poles anymore. We make them right here out of concrete.
Actually, we do import.
Wait a second. There used to be a pole factory here. When did they go out?
It's way before my time, but we do import our utility poles.
Huh.
They're special concrete poles, actually.
They're special. You say that it's made with hemp. If you say something is made with hemp anymore, it is now politically correct to say, yes, we have concrete poles and pre-stressed, and we're using hemp on the inside of it to give them just that much more anti-typhoon resistance,
No, our utility poles are not made of hemp. Sorry, but they are made very well to withstand typhoons and everything else. So this is part of our effort to increase our resiliency and our reliability.
We can't even start a rumor like that, Ray, because people will go around chopping down power poles trying to smoke them.
Smoke the poles. Hey, look, I'm going to let you go. Tell your husband I said off a day. We'll talk again.
I will.
All right, 9:52. No problem. The deal again between 9 and 11 this morning and 9 and 11 tomorrow. If you can't make it today, then make sure that you get some time over at the Utility Campus, I call it sometimes. It is the Gloria B. Nelson Public Service Building out in Fadian. 9:52. I got to take a quick break. Be right back.
IHOP now has buttermilk crispy chicken made with all natural chicken breast and a signature blend of seasonings. Why am I running? Because IHOP now has buttermilk crispy chicken made with all natural chicken breast and a signature blend of seasonings. Whoa! We're talking chicken sandwiches, chicken and waffles, even chicken and pancakes. But move it, Gray Van! IHOP has crispy chicken!
Run in to try IHOP's new buttermilk crispy chicken strips and pancakes for just $6.99. For a limited time, price and participating restaurants may vary.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day. Listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
A lot of stuff going on in this town. As I said, you want to get close to Shelley and Hydroponics. That's Saturday morning over at the Hive next to GPO. And then this is something. Sterling Corbin is hosting this. It will be a peaceful protest against animal cruelty taking place tomorrow at 5 o'clock right in front of the Chief Kipua statue in Agadia. And I know a lot of people that are already saying they're either interested or going. And if you've just heard all kinds of stories, and of course Pugwa and my brother's dog, and want to make a statement before the community that you don't approve of any form of animal cruelty. In fact, I understand there's a new bill that has been introduced just recently that will help define animal cruelty a little bit better and make it easier for people to get convictions on animal cruelty when it occurs here on Guam. So again, tomorrow at 5 o'clock at Chief Kipua statue for that demonstration. 9:55. My buddy Mo Cotton's on the phone. Mo.
Yeah, I heard you were talking about the VA chief and wondering where he's going to be and what time. I too was, as a veteran, I didn't know. I read both newspapers, and neither one mentioned the time. So I drove up to the Guadalupe and talked to the girl from. Well, anyway, I found out from them that he's supposed to be at the at Guadalupe at 1 o'clock today.
I wonder why they didn't tell anybody that he's going to be at Guadalupe at 1 o'clock today. Is it possible? Is it possible, Mo, that they don't want a bunch of pissed off vets going up to him and saying, "Hey, what's going on? You know, we served. It's time for us to get our recompense. And it's time to be able to get as easily as possible all of the benefits that we have earned."
That's exactly right. And as a vet, I'm learning all the time what benefits are available to us. And I'll tell you another reason why there's a lot of confusion up here. There is no VA hospital, as you know, and most people in the States have one accessible to them. And when you have a VA hospital, you have pretty much all the benefits and everything wrapped together. But here, you got to go to one hospital to get one kind of a doctor, and another, and the Navy hospital, and then GRMC to get another doctor.
Yep.
So it's confusing that way.
One of these days, Mo, you know, once upon a time, I sat on a committee that turned itself into Guam Regional Medical City, and then there was an attempt at another committee later on where we tried to do kind of the same magic and create for ourselves what would have been a veterans hospital here, and it would have been the whole full-blown thing. We'd take care of all the different therapies that were required, including mental health therapies and things like that, so that more and more people would be able to avail of the service. It's just, you know, in our mind, just building a facility and then go to the federal government and say it's turnkey. We've built the building to federal spec, based on the requirements that you would ask of any other facility. So come and rent from us.
Yes.
And I'd really like. I would hope that one of these days that crew gets put together, because it is something that I'd like to see in this town. We've got so many of our guys, and as Mike pointed out, as anybody that's close to the issue will point out, we've got a really, really good service profile here on Guam, and it's not good that they go away and they come back, and it's so hard for some of them to be able to get the benefits that they need.
That's true.
Well, I'm glad that you're on it. So you're gonna now if you're going to be there at 1 o'clock this afternoon, what are you going to ask the guy?
Well, I'm going to ask him pretty much just what you said. Why do we have 3 or 4 different places to go to whenever we got a question?
Okay.
We got one. We got an office at Tejan. We now have. Of course, we have one at. I'm trying to think. See, I'm getting old. I'm 83. I can't think anymore.
Hey, you're as old as Dave Davis.
I'm working hard at it.
And what does it say? I got a note from my buddy Chris. Says 13:15. The VA secretary will be at Guadalupe to meet with veterans. I don't know what the restrictions as per invitation is, so they don't get swamped with a bunch of old guys, ticked off old guys. Sorry, calling a spade. Sorry, I edited for radio. There will be a former member of the Veterans Commission there, as Chris is a former member of the Veterans Commission. He will be there as well to extend any remarks that are required from among people that he has worked with as they try to get the what they're entitled to as a virtue of their service. Hey, buddy, I got to run because it's 10 o'clock.
I know it is.
I'll see you at the Payless. You take care of yourself, all right? You keep working on that. All right, buddy.
Bye-bye.
That's Mo Cotton on the radio. 888-8255-888-TALK is my number. It's also Bob Klitsky's number. Bob will have a lot to talk about. He's got 41 pages worth of a decision from the Ninth Circuit affirming a prior decision of the Ninth Circuit, which affirmed a ruling from district court here on Guam. And this could be it. It could be curtains for the plebiscite conversation and, by extension, the Office of Decolonization. Decolonization Commission. If there's not going to be a plebiscite, doesn't seem to me that there's a whole lot more for them to do. So we'll watch and see what the reactions are from among the Attorney General, the legislature, the governor, and the groups that will line up, no doubt, to protest this recent decision. The radio station is KUSG. I got you. My name is Ray Gibson. For Michael Knight, Kevin Kerrigan, and Blake Watson, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Here's the news.
Measure failed. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Congress won't stop the administration from moving ahead with billions of dollars in military sales to Saudi Arabia.